You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.
What's going on, yo? What's going on? What's going on? Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Shout out to the replay gang. Hype button and thank you button for the replay gang. Yeah. Okay. So this week, and we're gonna be covering this again. This is Mr. Z's last time covering this. We were displeasured by the article speaking about boyfriends being embarrassing. Everybody covered it. Everyone who's anyone, yay or nay, pro and con, covered this article. Um, we did not hear too much from the men who assume women are on the right side of history by the mere fact that they're women. We did not hear too much from them. I'm gonna play a bit of these men step up and I guess bow to women, but we're not gonna call it that. We're just gonna call it you just stepping up and being a better man. Okay. We're gonna play a bit of them in a minute, but before we do that, we're gonna set the stage with a young lady who I think she's married. I think that's what she said. Speaking on this, why are we covering this one more again? Mr. Z is increasingly believing not that this is a psyop like government psyop, but that this is classmate guarding. You have way too many women in and out of relationships who are telling the masses of women that it's better to be alone. Once again, you have too many women who are both single and who are in relationships, whether that's boyfriend, girlfriend, or whether that's marriage, who are saying to the masses of women that it is better to be single, especially if that man isn't exceedingly financially well endowed. If he's not paying for everything, if he's not, and we're gonna hear that soon, that it's better to be single. Your autonomy is more important. Speaking of autonomy. So we have three different definitions here. Autonomy, because we hear this word often from the ladies concerning relationships, particularly with men. And so we're going to read that Mr. Z has used this word often, but we're going to read the definition. And this is not the AI generated definition. This is the actual definition. And what does it say? The right or condition of self-government, right? So self-governance, get it? Okay, cool. A self-governing country or region. Okay, okay. Freedom from external control or influence, comma, independence. Wait a minute. One of the definitions of autonomy sounds eerily similar to negative liberty. Freedom from external control or influence. Huh. So negative liberty, ladies. Y'all keep that in mind as y'all listen to this, and I'll bring up the definition for negative liberty in a minute, right? So we're gonna listen to this young lady speak. It's a few minutes long. Y'all grab y'all popcorn. It's actually morning, so breakfast time. Y'all grab y'all hash browns and your breakfast sandwiches, and your coffee, and we'll listen to this. Um, and I want y'all to pay very close attention to what this young lady is saying, because it starts off with what we believe it's gonna be, and then she veers off slowly, and she sounds like women in luxury type talk. And that says a lot about that article, right? I didn't clip out the men who read through the article and they tell you, actually, at the end of the day, it really was women talking to other women about how women behave when they're in relationship, right? Now, what's funny is that according to the brother that read through the entire article, which Mr. Z did also, at the end of the article, what this author said was essentially women should have more camaraderie with other women. In other words, go the same direction other women are going, right? So all of that homies over 304s type talk, this is women saying that to other women. It's women over men, period. It doesn't matter if you're in a relationship or not. You need to have camaraderie with other women. It don't matter if we're right or if we're wrong. It doesn't matter what we're saying. You ride with us. It's embarrassing to be a pick me type woman. You can't put your relationship above the sisterhood. Huh? Oh boy. When Mr. Z says that co-munching coven, shout out to all of you who think Mr. Z's joking. So continuing. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. All right, y'all, let's get underway.
Yes, we finally made it. We have finally arrived at the proper questioning of what is the benefit to a woman of being in a relationship with your regular, average, run-of-the-mill man. Because frankly, most of them exist below the line of bringing benefit to a woman's life. Most men are trained up basically from birth to just take and take and take and take and never give anything back. So like, what is the benefit? Why wouldn't it be embarrassing to be in a relationship with someone like that? If it would be embarrassing to be friends with someone like that, then why wouldn't it be embarrassing to be in a whole ass relationship with somebody like that? That's the question. And I'm so happy that we are finally here as just women in general, because as a woman with a whole ass husband, like I can tell you, yes, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to have a boyfriend because most men are worthless to you as a woman. Listen, if it needs to be embarrassing for a while to have a boyfriend, like regardless of how he treats you, or to be married, regardless of how he treats you, sacrifice me at that altar. I want what's best for all women. This is what my content has always been about. This has always been the goal of my content, to get women to question their relationships with men that they have compulsive, because we're taught from a very young age that it is the end all be all, that it is your ultimate goal in life is to be chosen by a man. I literally was like reading this article and like furiously scribbling down notes because there is so much to unpack here. And I think you should go read the article. It's not paywalled. The first two things I wrote down in my notes is men never wanted independence and men never wanted love. That is the intersection of this. That's the intersection. The reason it's not embarrassing for men to have a girlfriend is because there's an assumed unfair exchange of labor that's happening in these relationships. There's a reason why men have all these like requirements for women that like she needs to be able to cook, clean, be submissive, all this stuff. They're assuming an unfair exchange of labor. And if 90% of relationships are that way, if that's like the prerequisite for a man to have a girlfriend, right? Most men would never want a girlfriend that doesn't know how to cook, doesn't know how to clean, doesn't make their life better with just like her presence, doesn't push them to be a better man, makes them have better style, etc. Like most men would never be with a woman if she didn't bring an unfair amount of labor into that relationship. Most men never wanted independence. You have to understand that. The reason that they get with women is because they actually don't want to be independent. Most men that are married or in relationships or whatever, they are performing less labor than single men. Who are fathers are performing less labor on average than single men. Single men at least have to go get their own takeout or like buy their own ramen noodles to cook. Single men at least have to suffer with the mold poisoning that they get from like never cleaning their bathroom. Like married men don't even have to experience the consequences of their own actions and of their own incompetence and incapability. So that's why it's embarrassing for women, because it's like you're doing all that and for what? As men never wanted love either. They shame each other for being simps. They shame each other for being like whipped, etc. If a man, God forbid, shows love or even an interest in a woman, they discourage each other from showing love to women because all of this keeps the bar low. That's embarrassing.
No, not women, ma'am. Women like you.
With members of this committee. Let's keep the bar fucking low that's the problem, okay? Men, not all men themselves into this situation. My third point. Men were so busy, like, not all men. And women literally were like, if it's not all men, then why does my pattern recognition tell me that it is all men? Why is it every man I date? Why is it every man?
Because y'all are choosing the same dude, smart dumbass.
It's embarrassing to have a boyfriend because instead of being guys, they're saying it's all men out there. Like, we need to step up. We need to do something different. Like, we're scaring the bitches away. Men were like, it's not all men. Okay, great. Now it is all men. Congratulations. Like, I don't know. Maybe if you would have just shut the fuck up for once and actually did one thing to improve yourself as a person, like maybe you'd be a better person. Maybe you shouldn't even be doing that just so you can like have access to women. Have you ever thought about that? Men don't want independence. Men never wanted that. They always wanted to have a bang maid. That was always the goal. Men don't want to do things for themselves. They're too lazy, not driven enough in life. Like they need a woman. So it's like, yeah, that's embarrassing. To be with a man like that is very embarrassing. To know that he wouldn't have made anything of himself if you weren't there. To know that you had to apply to jobs for him. You had to like teach him how to wipe his asshole. Like, what's not embarrassing about that? Like, please, somebody tell me what's not embarrassing about that. The article talks about how women are still posting their men, but they're like obscuring them from view. And they're like, maybe it's just the back of his head. Maybe it's like a hand on a steering wheel. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Because you are rightfully being obscured from women's life because you're not contributing all that much. So why should you be front and center? Why should she be proud to be with you? You're not really bringing anything to the table. You are just a hand on a steering wheel. You are just the back of a head. Like, that's what you are to a woman's life. Like, you're just being accurately represented now, which is hilarious to me. I love this. So the article talks about like the social benefits.
Shout out to her husband.
And my question is, what are those social benefits to women nowadays? Like literally it's being able to say you got picked by a man. But it's like when you put those two things together, now it's like not as chic, not as exciting, because given what we know about men, that's not a flex. That's not an honor. That means you're willing to give of yourself to make somebody else's life better. Like 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, 999 times out of 1,000. So like, yeah, why wouldn't it be embarrassing? Yes, exactly. Because there might be some small social benefits, like, other pick-me women are impressed. Maybe men kind of like leave you alone because they know you have a boyfriend. But I don't know what the rest are. But like, maybe there's some social benefits. But for the most part, there are no tangible benefits to having a boyfriend. You know what I mean? There's more tangible benefits to like having a sugar daddy. And at least you're getting money, and at least nobody is like, we have to go 50-50. Now that women
Here we
work,
go.
You should pay half my rent.
Here go to
Why
real.
don't you pay for me out on the dinner date? Why don't you ever treat me to a spa day? Like, oh my God. These men, not only are they like already receiving tangible benefits, they're actually like not even embarrassed to ask for more on top of that. And that is rightfully embarrassing. What are the tangible benefits? If you can answer that question, then it's not embarrassing. Like if you can answer that question in a way that where it's not embarrassing, then it's not embarrassing to have a boyfriend. If you can say stuff like, oh, well, my boyfriend actually bought me property. That's a tangible benefit. Well, my boyfriend actually upgraded my car, apartment, upgraded my jewelry, upgraded this, upgraded that. It pays for me to get this done. Paid for me to go on vacation with my girl. He gave me like $10,000. Those are tangible benefits. Cleans my whole house every day or every week or whatever.
There we go.
Laundry, cooks for me, picks up my dry cleaning, like remodeled my house. Like those are tangible benefits, okay? Even then, like, are they daily tangible benefits? Like, is it consistent? What will you do if it stops? You know what I mean? That's the part where the embarrassment starts to like creep. The fact that we can answer that question the other way around and say, what are the social/tangible cons of having a boyfriend? Now we're talking. Now we're going to be here for a minute because I could go over those all day. Right? The social cons of having a boyfriend. Literally imagine bringing your boyfriend around your friends. Are you embarrassed? Like immediately. I know you are. I know you're embarrassed immediately because he's not going to know how to act. You're going to have to gentle parent him into going, into having the conversation, into being a pleasant person around your friends. He doesn't know what your friends do. He's not going to ask them a single question. He's going to bring down the vibe of the function. Men also will treat you differently when you have a boyfriend versus when you're single. So other men are now no longer benefiting you. They're not doing shit for you for free because you have a boyfriend, because he's supposed to be doing that. But he's not. He's not. So that's embarrassing. That's a social con. That's not a pro. Now people are asking you, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? Oh, he's such a nice guy. Now it's all about him. That's a social con. We could talk about these all day, like you're worried about your boyfriend being in other people's DMs. That's
sounds like jealousy.
You're worried about, oh my God, like if I were to loyalty test him, he probably wouldn't pass. That's a con. When we go outside, he like stares at women openly for a long time. That's a social con. Your boyfriend's a creep. My friends and I like want to go out. He is kind of a wet blanket about it. That's a con. What are the tangible cons of having a boyfriend? Again, I can make you a list like 10 miles long, but let's just go over a few that are just obvious. If you are a woman who is like already successfully living on her own, or even if you're living with like a female roommate, whatever, the tangible cons of having a boyfriend are going to haunt you every day. That man's going to show up to your place, kick off his dusty ass, dirty ass shoes, just wherever. The first thing he's going to do. Next thing he's going to do is like take off his jacket, drape it on your couch, drape it on your nice armchair, drape it on your bar stool, right? Because he's a fucking animal. Like, he doesn't know how things work. He just takes that shit for granted. He's gonna sit on your
calling men animals.
He's gonna throw his dirty laundry in your hamper at your apartment. He's gonna open your fridge, your and your roommate's fridge, and help himself to the treats you guys were saving for yourself when you're on your period or, PMSing or whatever, just had a hard day. And worst part is, he's gonna put the container back in the fridge or back in the pantry, empty. or with like 2 crackers left inside. So in your mind, you're going to be thinking, oh, I still have that. You're going to be looking forward to that meal all day, and you're going to come home and the fucking thing is going to be empty except for like 1 or 2 crackers. You're going to want to crash out. That's a tangible con of having a boyfriend, because he takes your shit for granted, because he takes his own shit for granted. He doesn't have any friends to go to. So whenever he's upset, you're like the emotional punching bag, you know, you're like his therapist and bang maid all in one. You know, when you come over to his place, it's like basically just for you to feel safe and healthy in his
Bang maid. Wow.
You would have to do like the tangible labor. He doesn't do shit. How is it not embarrassing to have a boyfriend? Like, I really, like, it is. If you were expecting me as a married woman to come on here and like give a nuanced perspective of this, no, I'm not going to, because that's not what we need right now. We need this revolution to happen. Anybody, before we can have a nuanced conversation about like, what if a man makes your life better? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. When the men are making your life better, let me know. Because on a large scale, it's definitely an epidemic. Boyfriends going out of style and like it being known that boyfriends ruin your aura, that's just pattern recognition on women's part. And I couldn't be more proud. So Godspeed, ladies. You're doing the right thing. And I love you so much. Mwah.
So for all of you that were saying she's still talking, look, Mr. Z sped this up 1.35 speed, and it resulted into a little over 9 minutes. This was actually 12 minutes and some change. Yeah, that's number one. Number two, appreciate that she gave the most honest take out of all the women Mr. Z saw. She knew what this really was. Now appreciate this is a married woman, according to her. She spoke about the money. She called men animals. She says she's not doing a nuanced take. Oh, you gotta love it. Huh? She over here talking about men, men essentially as a burden. I want everyone to remember this. Remember this. Remember the antagonism. Remember the mean-spiritedness of her speaking. Remember the smug and the sass. So as the folks from Morning Joe, I'm looking at you, Joe Scarborough, bum ass. As the folks from Morning Joe are pretending like they don't know. Oh, we know all these kick-ass women, and all, and the men are not on their level, and they're so single, and the women are single because the men are not doing stepping up, and the men need to step up. For who? For women like this? No, let her husband have her, and that's it. She better don't come back out here. Shout out to you and your husband, ma'am. Step up for who? For women like this? Appreciate what she was saying here as a married woman, as a supposed married woman. She read that article and she gave you her take, and her take was the most accurate, because if you listen to women and men talk, you'll see them covering for women. Once again, as many of my old heads, my day ones have heard Z say, particularly in America, but across the West, we speak as if women are infallible in relationship to men. When women are in relationship with men, women are infallible. The only time women abuse men, assault men, speak negatively to and about men, particularly their boyfriends, their husbands, their lovers, is because he initiated, he did something wrong. Women don't have character flaw, men have character flaw. Women don't have faults, men have faults. And if a woman does have a fault, it's because some man somewhere in her life dropped the ball. Men and boys are to be civilized by women and society. Women, on the other hand, are to be protected from animalistic, barely able to breathe and walk at the same time, Neanderthal boys and men. That is how we speak. The women hear you loud and clear. To all of the Black men, Latino men, definitely lame ass white men, white knights. The women hear you, the girls hear you. When they become adults, they regurgitate that type of rhetoric, and that's what you heard here. What you heard here was a woman who heard what y'all were saying. She sees it on television shows. She sees it in the movies. She's read the books. She's read the articles. She sees it on social media. And then it is reinforced by you lame ass, loser ass men. Huh? What are you talking about, Z?
Vogue released an article saying it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, and although that's a bit dramatic, it confirms that we are living in a time where women do not need men. And not only do women not need men, they don't want men. They'd rather be single and alone than be with someone who adds absolutely nothing to their life. With that being said, there are so many good guys out there, so many great men out there, but there are so many more shitty men, and having to filter through them to find somebody who is decent has become exhausting. So they've given up. So what does this mean for men? It means that if you are a good guy, if you have a great life and you have something to offer somebody, it's your time to shine. It's your time to step up. It's not time to sit there and be like, oh, women hate us. No, they don't. Women don't hate men. They just want someone who's going to come into their life and make it better. And that might sound shallow, but you're not hearing me. You're not listening, because if you are entering...
I'm going to replay that. I'm going to finish it. Average women hate that they are relegated in their mind to average men. Do women hate men inherently? Maybe not. You know what the problem is? Average women who don't think that they're average, or they accept that they're average, but it's a man's job to elevate them above average. Elite women still, for the most part, are getting married, and they're the ones more likely to stay married. The only reason Mr. Z brings up marriage is as a sign of stability. And for us as millennials, and definitely Gen Z, and even some of the younger Xers, marriage is not what you do in the beginning of adulthood. It is what you do as a capstone to quote unquote quote adulting. So the elites are still getting married and more likely to stay married. What we have are average women who may or may not be college educated, who may or may not have a bit of status, a position in their careers, a baby luxury car, maybe a condo that they can afford, maybe not. But essentially average women who detest that they are relegated in their minds to average men. I'm not speaking about who she can have sexual fun with. Elite men will have sexual fun with average women, below average women. He will not marry or take seriously in any real long-term relationship average women. The problem is average looking, average income, average status women who are incensed that in their mind, the men they are relegated to will not elevate them. This is what this society refuses to bring up. Outside of red pill spaces, no one, I mean no one, is speaking about that. That is the issue. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have average women who, because of social media, because of the internet, because of television, because of radio, because of print media, can see, hear, read the lives of elite women. And they are incensed that in their mind, they will never get there. They will not be elevated to that level by a man. And so they're throwing adult temper tantrums like little children, 7-year-olds in grown women's bodies, 5- and 6-year-olds in grown women's bodies throwing temper tantrums because it's not fair. Why don't I get the lifestyle?
That's not fair. That is not fair. That is not fair. That's not fair. That is not fair! That is not fair!
Why don't I get the lifestyle? Huh? It's women throwing temper tantrums. That's all it is. And we watch as men and women cover their eyes, stick their fingers in their ears as the women throw temper tantrums. And what you saw with this young lady was her saying, I feel your pain. I'm in solidarity with you. The men are animals. The men don't know how to wipe their own butt. Once again, the men need to be civilized. Translation, the average man needs to be broken. The average man needs to be broken by women and by the society, and definitely by you civilized men. Ooh, see, you about to say it. Mainly you civilized white men. Ooh. The women are, I want to say this and I want to put this on record now. Women of color and white women are begging essentially elite white men to break other men. That's working class white men. That's poor white men. That's black men across the board. That's Latino men across the board. Even some Asian men across the board. It is the white man's burden. Huh? It is the white man's burden talk.
But my thing is, like, I don't understand the obsession with trying to make black women settle so much. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Like, seriously. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Do y'all tell white women that they should settle? Because last time I checked, anytime a white girl marries a black man, it's always when he's at his best and when he's rich as hell. You think Kim Kardashian was going to marry Kanye while he was broke and didn't have any money? You think Kanye would have had a chance with Kim then? Or you think Kanye had a chance with Kim when he was a multi-million-dollar rapper? Let's be real. Like, y'all don't say this to any other group but us. We're tired of settling. We're tired.
As I said, temper tantrum language. Appreciate around the halfway mark, a little bit past it, what that young lady was saying. Not this clip I just played, but the white young lady or Latina, whatever she is. She started speaking about that money and status. That's the real conversation right there. When she started speaking about sugar daddies, that's the real conversation right there. Translation, it's better to have your autonomy, even in the struggle. It's better to have your autonomy than to be with someone who's not a sugar daddy. Either he's incapable, he doesn't have it, or he refuses to give it to you if he does have it. It's better to have your autonomy and be in the struggle and show solidarity with other women. These women are cowards. They won't say it outright. Except for that article, it kind of did say it outright. Oops. It's better to have your autonomy, even if your autonomy means you're struggling financially, than to be with a man that doesn't elevate you extremely. Meanwhile,
either. And to continue to make matters worse, functionally all salary data in the United States is worthless for a few reasons. Ultra-high earners heavily skew national averages upwards, which is why the average salary in this country is $64,000 a year, despite the median being 43. But even that 43...
And that is the problem. The women went to school, they got their education. That's white women, black women, Latina women, Asian women. And when we say Asian, once you exclude Indian, by the way, it's really the Indians, H-1B visas in Indians and their children bringing that Asian number all the way up. Because I think the average Indian household is like $127,000 or something like that. The Indians are the ones bringing that number all the way up. It might even be the individual Indian that's making 127. I can't remember. Either way, You exclude the Indians from the Asian number, it come right back down. By the way, it would still be above your average American, but not all the way up there. Huh? Median income $43,000. The women go to school, they get their education, they get their degrees, they get into middle management positions with titles, but without the money. They have character flaw. They're overweight like hell. They're mean, they're rude, they're snarky, they're gossipy. They won't change that because the women have no flaws. The women have nothing to improve. Shout out to Vince. Yes, the women have nothing to improve. Let me see if I can find that comment when you put it down, Vince. Wait a minute. There we go. And Vince says, women don't have anything to learn. No. That's sexist, sir. That's misogynistic. No. The men have things to learn. The men need to be civilized. The boys have to be civilized. Not the women and the girls. Absolutely not. Huh? And Grab Second Gear says, ain't no way she married. Grab Second Gear. I put money she ain't lying. Let's continue with the white dude so you can see. No, she could be married. I don't think she lying. Married to what type of man? Men that think, well, like this.
Vogue released an article saying it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, and although that's a bit dramatic, it confirms that we are living in a time where women do not need men. And not only do women not need men, they don't want men. They'd rather be single and alone than be with someone who adds absolutely nothing to their life. With that being said, there are so many good guys out there, so many great men out there, but there are so many more shitty men, and having to filter through them to find somebody who is decent has become exhausting. So they've given up. So what does this mean for men? It means that if you are a good guy, if you have a great life and you have something to offer somebody, it's your time to shine. It's your time to step up. It's not time to sit there and be like, oh, women hate us. No, they don't. Women don't hate men. They just want someone who's going to come into their life and make it better. And that might sound shallow, but you're not hearing me. You're not listening, because if you are entering into a relationship with someone, you want to be with someone who makes your life better. They make you a better person. They make you more ambitious. Whatever it may be. Women don't want someone who's just there. They want someone who's going to challenge them. They want someone who's going to support them. They want someone who's going to cheer in their success. Make them more successful. Make them smarter. Make them more traveled, more learned, more cultured. Whatever it may be. So if you are a good guy and if you have something to offer, if you have a great, whatever it may be, it's your time to step up and shoot and show it. Prove it. Do it. Don't wallow in sadness and be the guy that's like, oh, women hate us. They don't want to give us a chance. No. Because all the guys that do suck, they are giving up. As they should be. Fuck them. But if you are one of the good guys, one of the decent guys out there, don't shy away from the challenge. Continue to be a good guy. Continue to prove yourself. And continue to show your worth. Because
prove
this is
yourself.
Sex thing. There's a lot of fucking shitty women out there too. A lot of bad women who offer nothing, who bring nothing to the table. So whoever wrote this article is just really good at their job. Shout out to you. You wrote a good article. You got some buzz. And that's what you're supposed to do. Okay? Because there are a lot of good men. And there's a lot of good women, and there's a lot of shitty men, and there's a lot of shitty women. You just have to find the right one.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you button and hype button, please and thank you. Okay. This is proof. That young lady, I don't think she's lying about being married. She's married probably to a man that think like this. Huh? Appreciate she's probably married to a man who thinks of other men the way he did. Notice he flamed men and just a little bit of, well, there's crappy women too, and you know, I mean, like women can be crappy and men can be crappy. And he's telling you to step up. Ooh, you gotta love it. That weirdo reverse psychology insulting crap. I'm going to insult you. I'm going to demean you, but I'm going to frame it like I'm just challenging you to step up and be a better man, a better human being. Oh, you gotta love it. And this works on adults. I'm going to demean you. I'm going to insult you. I'm going to challenge your masculinity and your manhood, which you probably don't have, but okay, fine. But the framing is me challenging you to be a better person, a better man. a better man for your future spouse, just a better person. You gotta love it, huh? So Mr. Z will put it out there now. The birth rate is going to continue to decline. The marriage rate is going to continue to decline. More and more women are going to be single. More and more women and men are going to be celibate. A number of women, you know who's going to have the most fun? Elite men. Elite men are going to be so spoiled for choice. More and more of them will sound like Jason Black, the Black Authority. Look, man, you average men, y'all need to step up because look, my phone stay ringing. I'm too spoiled for choice. I can't put my phone down. The women is just throwing vagina at me. White men, black men, Latino men, they're going to be married with 3-4 side chicks. God forbid he is tall and good looking and white. Huh? What's going on, Dr. Dunbar? Huh? If this is what it is to be in a quote unquote advanced society, is that we slowly but surely work our way into the mouse utopia experiment, then so be it. And every step of the way, Mr. Z will remind us, y'all see that, right? Y'all see that, right? You see where we going, right? I'm just making sure that every step of the way, we know we breadcrumbing ourselves. Shout out to Hansel and Gretel. We're breadcrumbing ourselves into the mouse utopia experiment, right? Huh? So I don't doubt that the young lady is married or some type of partnered. You will find men who agree with women that men are all type of messed up, men are all type of uncivilized, unserious, and it takes a woman's touch. Appreciate she said men don't even know how to wipe their own rear end until a woman comes into his life. The only way you can elevate her is financially and by bowing to her and by essentially being her caretaker, and be very clear what she called women who don't see men in this way. She called them bedmaids. For all of you that heard correctly, y'all heard her correctly. She called these women bedmaids. Ooh. LGBTQ language. That's all this is, radical feminism language directed to women. Oh, you gotta love it. I don't doubt that young lady is married. Once again, married to who? Married to what type of men?
Anyway, they're calling out the weird ass pick-me's that make having a boyfriend their whole personality, and also deconstructing and trying to leave behind the traditional heterosexual relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like women don't have to be in relationships that they don't want to be in anymore. Like back in the day, they had to stay with their men because they had to do that in order to survive, in order to be able to have access to money and funds and things like that. Women can just up and leave now, and that's just cool as hell, bro. And it's really cool to me that women are leaving behind these traditional gender roles, because like not everybody is meant to be a traditional woman or traditional man. And you trying to force yourself into that kind of way of living is not healthy for you. And it only creates insecurity within yourself. Because like if you're unable to fulfill these kind of gender roles, it's going to lead to you feeling like you're less of a man or less than a woman. And then on the other hand, it's great for me because I hate a woman that makes being a girlfriend or wanting to be a wife her whole personality. Because there's nothing else going on in her life. And to me, I want my relationship to go as like us being our own separate people. We just happen to be dating. We just happen to be together. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel like we both have our own autonomy and we both can like go out and do things without each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause to me, that's the best kind of relationship. And if you disagree, that's up to you. Like that live your life how you want to live it. But like for me, I need that sense of self. I don't need to feel like I have to be around you all the time. But yeah, man, shout out Shantae Joseph. She did her thing. She was really in her bag. Her pen was.
Yeah, once again, autonomy. I would like to direct y'all to that third definition: freedom from external control or influence. Independence. Ooh. Huh? Autonomy. Y'all heard him call these women pygmies. This is a man calling women pygmies who care about a man's opinion. He revels in the fact that a woman could just get up and go out of a relationship. Huh? No sense of obligation. The obligation is all for the men. The sense of responsibility is all for the men. The women feels like you left the toilet seat up one too many times. She can leave and destroy the relationship, the family, all of it. And that's what they see as a form of power. That's what's empowering. You gotta love it. Once again, that young lady can be married. Married to who? The type of men Mr. Z is showing. The type of men we're exhibiting here. He's not the only one. I showed you a white man. I showed you a black man. Let me show you another black man. Oh, man.
Vogue just published an article titled "Having a Boyfriend is Embarrassing." And honestly, the fact that this even had to be written is a clear wake-up call for men. Because if women, smart, independent women with their own careers, homes, and lives, are saying that being in a relationship with a man feels like a downgrade, we are clearly doing something wrong. One of the quotes really stuck with me: being partnered doesn't affirm your womanhood anymore. It is no longer considered.
We're going to pause right there. We are clearly doing something wrong. Now, at the foundation of that statement is this assumption that women are on the correct side of history. A woman files a complaint. It's not that you investigate. It's not that you, okay, let's see what's going on. No. You assume she's correct from the jump. You go and chastise the men from the start. A woman files a complaint. That complaint, we're going to assume it's not informed by her maybe being overweight, and men for the most part don't care for women that are overweight. That's not what they're going for. Her opinion could not be informed by she's not being chosen because she's too gossipy. Nope. Her opinion could not be informed by she's too mean, she's too dismissive, she's too selfish, she's too self-centered. Nope. So when women file complaints about men, we're going to assume that she's on the right side of history, or the women in aggregate are on the right side of history. Now, when men file complaints, our assumption, the default is that men are informed by patriarchal, sexist, misogynistic notions of what family relationship women should be, and what he as a man, or men writ large, or men in aggregate, how they should move. There's an assumption that men should lead. So men are informed by toxic notions of manhood and masculinity. Women are informed by justice, by fairness. Huh? I had to pause what he was saying so we can go into detail about what informs this idea that the men need to step up. We got things to work on. The women are filing complaints. Now, the women's complaint, we assume the women's complaint is not informed by the fact that she ain't being chosen, or these average women aren't being chosen by elite men for relationship, not for sex. Those men will have sex with average women. Elite men, elite rich men, elite rich white men, good looking, tall, elite rich white men will have sex with women you would never believe he would. That's across race and across the board. That's different weight. That's a different class, different income, different race. You won't believe the type of women, elite, tall, good-looking men, good-looking, tall, rich, white men. You will not believe who he will have sex with. Will he have a long-term relationship with her? Probably not. Will he marry her? More than likely not. Almost definitely not. It's not about who he will have sex with. It's about who he will marry, who he will be in long-term relationship with, who he will pay for and fund. And the issue that we have here that this young man refuses to acknowledge, it's a whole lot of average women angry that being an average woman means that you're more likely going to end up with an average man, and they are throwing temper tantrums about it. Now they're framing it, once again, that the men are not on their level. Meanwhile, we still know that men earn more than women after the age of 30. Men put in more hours. Men earn more. Men still start more businesses, including within the Black community. Men employ more people, including within the Black community. What this is, and shout out to Lion, are a bunch of hypergamous failures howling at the moon, hoping that the technocrats, mainly white men, will create a system that produces more men for women to practice hypergamy with. Unfortunately, equality means you don't get hypergamy. The women are running into the wall of their hypocrisy, wanting to practice hypergamy while also advocating for equality. The math don't math. But let's let this young man continue to talk because he's not doing the social math. Continuing. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat.
Vogue just published an article titled "Having a Boyfriend is Embarrassing." And honestly, the fact that this even had to be written is a clear wake-up call for men. Because if women, smart, independent women with their own careers, homes, and lives, are saying that being in a relationship with a man feels like a downgrade, we are clearly doing something wrong. One of the quotes really stuck with me: being partnered doesn't affirm your womanhood anymore. It is no longer considered an achievement. That has to stop and make us think. There was a time when having a boyfriend, a husband, was seen as a step up, a kind of validation. Now it's something many women feel hesitant to even post about or tell anyone about. They feel like they need to hide it from their friends or family in fear of even being judged. Somewhere along the way, it seems that men stopped being a source of strength or support. Men became something that takes rather than adds value. And when you think about it, why would a woman with her own income, her own and her own power choose to bring someone into her life who only adds stress or extra work? And I know for me, having a girlfriend isn't something you're entitled to. It's a privilege. And with that privilege comes responsibility. That might mean doing more of the day-to-day work, laundry, dishes, and things many men still expect women to mostly handle. It might mean supporting her ambitions, helping her go back to school, cheering her on in her career, or simply creating space for her to thrive. At its best, a relationship is about two people making each other stronger, better, helping one another become the best version of themselves. But if we're honest, it seems a lot of men aren't holding up to that side of the bargain right now, which is clear in the article. We need to change that. We need to start bringing back real value, emotional, practical, intellectual, so that being with us isn't embarrassing, it's empowering. So when Vogue says having a boyfriend is embarrassing, maybe it's less about mockery and more about disappointment, because the modern woman feels like being with a man is a step backwards.
Once again, men earn more than women. I'm saying this to say what I said earlier. The assumption is that women have all of this value inherently. When I say value, I'm not speaking about they're the ones who bear the children. There's this assumption that women are automatically going to be good mothers. They're going to be good spouses. They're going to be encouraging. They're going to be kind and understanding. They're going to be nurturing. The men, on the other hand, are going to be selfish and going to be have to be dragged kicking and screaming into considering the women and the children. The women already consider the men and the children. The men, on the other hand, he has to be civilized. Once again, both by society and by women in aggregate and in his individual woman. Listen to this young man speak. Once again, the assumption is the men and the boys have to be civilized. The women and the girls automatically are civilized. They already and automatically are selfish. They are considerate. The women are right. The men being with the man is embarrassing. Why would you trade your autonomy for an average man? at least if you're going to trade your autonomy, and Mr. Z been saying this for years. I knew he was going to end up here talking about crystal ball. Shout out to Dr. Dunbar, Mr. Z over again, tongue tied. Dr. Dunbar, yes. I knew this is what the women were really saying, because I knew what the complaint really was. The complaint for average women, particularly if she has a bit of education, a little bit of status, got her baby luxury car, her condo, is that she can't practice hypergamy now. So you have this holding of hands of average women who are angry that they're getting closer and closer to parity with men, and now they can't practice a type of hypergamy that elevates them to men who earn $50,000, $100,000 more than they do, $75,000 more than they do, who's a class or two above them. Hypergamy is really about class, not income, but don't let a little thing like facts get in the way. You have this holding of hands, this agreement of average women and elite women who said, you know what? The one thing we agree on is that average men ain't ish. And if you're going to trade your autonomy and your freedom, make sure it is worth it. Very importantly, it is worth it financially. That way, whatever character flaw that man has, you're willing to overlook it, at least for a few years, because he's coming with that check. Why would you trade your autonomy as an average woman to be with an average man? Even if that average man earns more than you. Even if that average man will lighten the load of life for you. It's not enough. The women are not using the right words. They're almost. They're cowards because they're not actually saying what they mean. They're angry that they're hypergamous failures. They're not using the right words. They're not telling the technocrats what the real problem is. The real problem is, now that I'm on this level, how the hell am I supposed to practice hypergamy? It's not fair. I was promised a lifestyle with this degree. I was promised a certain man and a certain outcome with this degree. It's not fair. I'm not getting that. The women aren't being honest with their real problem is. Huh? The women aren't being honest what their real problem is. They are cowards. We're going to let this Asian lady tell y'all what it really is. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Shout out to the replay gang. Thank you, button and hype button for the replay gang. Here we go, y'all.
People are ready to hear this, but hypergamy content is slowly starting to feel like the female version of red pill content. Now, wait, hear me out. Hear me out. I know that red pill content is actively promoting abuse towards women, but hypergamy content is slowly promoting emotional abuse towards men. Okay, hold on. I love seeing women get treated like queens. I love seeing that on my page. I love seeing men adore and spoil their women any chance they get. However, there's content that's being pushed out to essentially make you compare your relationship with some random person's relationship. If your man does not buy you a car, 1,000 roses, and pays your rent, he's just not man enough. You're with the wrong guy. He's a dusty. Do you know how damaging that is for not just men, but for women ourselves? Because this is reinforcing the idea that a woman's value has to come from the external. It has to come from material goods. Like, I'm only a woman enough, I'm only feminine enough if I can have a guy pay for me, essentially. So my value is based on a man still. We are telling men that if you cannot provide 100% everything, give your wife everything, you're just not man enough. What about all those men, like 90% of men that just don't have the luxury to do that? Do they not deserve to experience love?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that is what the women are saying. They're just too cowardly to use those exact words. That is what they're saying. That is what they're saying. Number one. Number two, when she speaks about comparing your relationships, right? We see that all across the internet. Once again, it's not fair.
Fair. That is not fair! That is not fair!
Huh? Appreciate in the comments, women were ripping her apart in the comments. It's an Instagram video. They were ripping her apart, particularly, obviously, you know who was ripping her apart the most? Black women. Of course. Of course. Black. Of course. Who else? And what essentially were black women saying?
But my thing is, like, I don't understand the obsession with trying to make black women settle so much. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Like, seriously. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Do y'all tell white women that they should settle? Because last time I checked, anytime a white girl marries a black man, it's always when he's at his best and when he's rich as hell. You think Kim Kardashian was going to marry Kanye while he was broke and didn't have any money? You think Kanye would have had a chance with Kim then? Or you think Kanye had a chance with Kim when he was a multi-million-dollar rapper? Let's be real. Like, y'all don't say this to any other group but us. We're tired of settling. We're tired.
In the comments for that video, and I'll link it after the stream, were women, namely black women, saying, you know her family would never let her show up with this type of man or that type of man. Huh? Girl, bye. All those type of comments. Because the idea is, and we're living in that society. The Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? You're living in a society where the women can't tell you they're struggling financially. This autonomy and being single is costing them. Your average woman is agreeing with elite women with this lifestyle talk, but your average woman is struggling financially. Huh?
I am tired of the amount of gaslighting us single people have to go through. Because let's be honest, a lot of the things that our friends in relationships can get for free, we have to pay for. And there's no amount of self-love or therapy that can kind of circumvent the frustration that being single is very expensive. Because if, an example, I am sick, I don't have anyone who can cook for me. My friend can ask her boyfriend to cook for her. I have to DoorDash something. If I need help moving something in my house, I need to go find someone and pay that person to come over and move it. Well, my friend can just ask her partner. And all those things just add up. If you lose your job, you have someone who can help you with rent. If you are having like financial trouble or health trouble, you now need to like disclose that to your family or friends, which might be embarrassing, or you can tell your one husband or your wife to help you through that. It is so frustrating to have to go through so many things alone and make these really big decisions, hard decisions completely by myself. I have my friends, I have my family, I love them, I can lean on them, but maybe I don't want to tell them all about my finances. Maybe I don't want to have to over-explain my entire health condition to them. Maybe I just need someone to help me with a real quick task that I don't want to have to pay someone or wait for someone to drive across town to come help me. And it is so frustrating because we're told that, being single is great. And it's really great when compared to an unhealthy relationship. But being single is not always better than having a healthy relationship. Don't get me wrong, I am not going to go hop into a relationship with a man just so I can have someone. But I do think we need to be honest that being single, while it can be really great, is also very impractical sometimes.
And what everyone is telling outside of the black manosphere, particularly, what this entire society, especially these content creators, these weirdos, both men and women, are saying to that young lady, your autonomy is worth it. Your autonomy is worth that financial struggle. Your autonomy is worth you in that solitude. Lean on your friends, your homegirls. Build stronger bond and relationship with your girlfriends and your homegirls. Yes, for all of you that are already thinking and feeling like this is women essentially practicing some version of political lesbianism, that's because it is. The only thing they're not doing, for some of them, the only thing they're not doing yet is the actual sexual part of political lesbianism. But the language, the advocacy, the way of speaking about men, the way of seeing men, the way of seeing your autonomy, the way of seeing other women, they're there. The only thing that some of them aren't doing yet is the sexual part. That's the only thing. And once again, that's for some of them. Ma'am, what the content creator I'm about to play again, what she is telling you is that financial struggle, that having to make these big decisions by yourself, that you certain things that are very personal that you would like to share with someone, but maybe not friends, maybe not family, but with your spouse, they're telling you your autonomy, especially if you're not going to end up with the elite, the most elite rich man, especially if he's white, it's worth it. Once again, freedom from external control or influence. Your autonomy, madam, is worth it. Particularly, I can tell by the way you're speaking, by your mannerisms, you might be doing pretty okay in life. They're telling you your autonomy is worth it. They're telling you to hold the line. Cry yourself to sleep at night, cry in the shower, buzz yourself to sleep at night with that rose toy. And when you walk out that door in the morning, put a fake ass smile for other women. Now, for men, particularly black men, you give them the grimace. You give the men the grimace. Yikes. You give the men the resting bee face. But when you walk out that door in the morning, you play stoic because your autonomy is worth it. Your autonomy is worth it. For the gender war, your autonomy is worth it. So we're going to play this again for those of you that missed it, that came in a little bit later. We're covering this again, and this is going to be the last time Mr. Z covers this, unless something really, pivotal comes out. I doubt it. We're covering this again because this article, and more importantly, people's response to this article said everything. Appreciate this is not just pop culture crap that we're covering. The women, and remember this author is out of the UK, the women are telling you how they think and how they feel about this current environment of dating, mating, marriage, relationship to men. Men are telling you how they feel and think about these things also. We're covering this because Mr. Z wants it on the record. We're covering this again because Mr. Z wants it on the record. So that when your nephews and your children come up on, wait a minute, our birth rate, damn near we're negative all around the planet now. How did we get here? Hopefully Mr. Z's channel is still around and they can see that Mr. Z was tracking these things every single step. Shout out to Bobby Brown. Every single step. We're going to keep this on file. We're going to keep this. We're going to make record of these things. Continuing.
Yes, we finally made it. We have finally arrived at the proper questioning of what is the benefit to a woman of being in a relationship with your regular, average, run-of-the-mill man. Because frankly, most of them exist below the line of bringing benefit to a woman's life. Most men are trained up basically from birth to just take and take and take and take and never give anything back. So like, what is the benefit? Why wouldn't it be embarrassing to be in a relationship with someone like that? If it would be embarrassing to be friends with someone like that, then why wouldn't it be embarrassing to be in a whole ass relationship with somebody like that? That's the question. And I'm so happy that we are finally here as just women in general, because as a woman with a whole ass husband, like I can tell you, yes, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to have a boyfriend because most men are worthless to you as a woman. Listen, if it needs to be embarrassing for a while to have a boyfriend, like regardless of how he treats you, or to be married, regardless of how he treats you, sacrifice me at that altar. I want what's best for all women. This is what my content has always been about. This has always been the goal of my content, to get women to question their relationships with men that they have compulsive, because we're taught from a very young age that it is the end all be all, that it is your ultimate goal in life is to be chosen by a man. I literally was like reading this article and like furiously scribbling down notes because there is so much to unpack here. And I think you should go read the article. It's not paywalled. The first two things I wrote down in my notes is men never wanted independence and men never wanted love. That is the intersection of this. That's the intersection. The reason it's not embarrassing for men to have a girlfriend is because there's an assumed unfair exchange of labor that's happening in these relationships. There's a reason why men have all these like requirements for women that like she needs to be able to cook, clean, be submissive, all this stuff. They're assuming an unfair exchange of labor. And if 90% of relationships are that way, if that's like the prerequisite for a man to have a girlfriend, right? Most men would never want a girlfriend that doesn't know how to cook, doesn't know how to clean, doesn't make their life better with just like her presence, doesn't push them to be a better man, makes them have better style, etc. Like most men would never be with a woman if she didn't bring an unfair amount of labor into that relationship. Most men never wanted independence. You have to understand that. The reason that they get with women is because they actually don't want to be independent. Most men that are married or in relationships or whatever, they are performing less labor than single men. Who are fathers are performing less labor on average than single men. Single men at least have to go get their own takeout or like buy their own ramen noodles to cook. Single men at least have to suffer with the mold poisoning that they get from like never cleaning their bathroom. Like married men don't even have to experience the consequences of their own actions and of their own incompetence and incapability. So that's why it's embarrassing for women, because it's like you're doing all that and for what? Because men never wanted love either. They shame each other for being simps. They shame each other for being like whipped, etc. If a man, God forbid, shows love or even an interest in a woman, they discourage each other from showing love to women because all of this keeps the bar low. That's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be in a relationship with members of this community. Let's keep the bar fucking low. That's the problem, okay? Men, not all men themselves into this situation. My third point. Men were so busy like, not all men. And women literally were like, if it's not all men, then why does my pattern recognition tell me that it is all men? Why is it every man I date? Why is it every man that my friends date? So it is all men. And now it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend because instead of being guys, they're saying it's all men out there. Like, we need to step up. We need to do something different. Like, we're scaring the bitches away. Men were like, it's not all men. Okay, great. Now it is all men. Congratulations. Like, I don't know. Maybe if you would have just shut the fuck up for once and actually did one thing to improve yourself as a person, like maybe you'd be a better person. Maybe you shouldn't even be doing that just so you can like have access to women. Have you ever thought about that? Men don't want independence. Men never wanted that. They always wanted to have a bang maid. That was always the goal. Men don't want to do things for themselves. They're too lazy.
A bang mate and a bang maid.
They need a woman. So it's like, yeah, that's embarrassing. To be with a man like that is very embarrassing. To know that he wouldn't have made anything of himself if you weren't there. To know that you had to apply to jobs for him. You had to like teach him how to wipe his asshole. Like, what's not embarrassing about that? Like, please, somebody tell me what's not embarrassing.
Women civilizing men again.
Women are still posting their men, but they're like obscuring them from view. And they're like, you know, maybe it's just the back of his head. Maybe it's like a hand on a steering wheel. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Because you are rightfully being obscured from women's life because you're not contributing all that much. So why should you be front and center? Why should she be proud to be with you? You're not really bringing anything to the table. You are just a hand on a steering wheel. You are just the back of a head. Like, that's what you are to a woman's life. Like, you're just being accurately represented now, which is hilarious to me. I love this. So the article talks about like the social benefits of having a partner. And my question is, what are those social benefits to women nowadays? Like, literally, it's being able to say you got picked by a man. But it's like when you put those two things together, now it's like not as chic, not as exciting, because given what we know about men, that's not a flex. That's not an honor. That means you're willing
calling
to
other women pick
to make
me's
somebody else's life better. Like 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, 999 times out of 1,000. So like, yeah, why wouldn't it be embarrassing? Yes, exactly. Because there might be some small social benefits, like, you know, other pick-me women are impressed. Maybe men kind of like leave you alone because they know you have a boyfriend. But I don't know what the rest are, but like maybe there's some social benefits. But for the most part, there are no tangible benefits to having a boyfriend. You know what I mean? There's more tangible benefits to like having a sugar daddy. And at least you're getting money, and at least nobody is like, we have to go 50-50. Now that women can work, you should pay half my rent. Why don't you pay for me out on the dinner date? Why don't you ever treat me to a spa day? Like, oh my God. These men, not only are they like already receiving tangible benefits, they're actually like not even embarrassed to ask for more on top of that. And that is rightfully embarrassing. Like, what are the tangible benefits? If you can answer that question, then it's not embarrassing. Like if you can answer that question in a way that where it's not embarrassing, then it's not embarrassing to have a boyfriend. You know, if you can say stuff like, oh, well, my boyfriend actually bought me property. That's a tangible benefit. My boyfriend actually upgraded my car, apartment, upgraded my jewelry, upgraded this, upgraded that. It pays for me to get this done, paid for me to go on vacation with my girl. He gave me like $10,000. Those are tangible benefits. Cleans my whole house every
Elite
day,
women talk.
whatever. Does my laundry, cooks for me, cleans, picks up my dry cleaning, like remodeled my house. Like those are tangible benefits, okay? Even then, like, are they daily tangible benefits? Like, is it consistent? What will you do if it stops? You know what I mean? That's the part where the embarrassment starts to like creep. The fact that we can answer that question the other way around and say, what are the social/tangible cons of having a boyfriend? Now we're talking. Now we're going to be here for a minute because I could go over those all day. Right? The social cons of having a boyfriend. Literally imagine bringing your boyfriend around your friends. Are you embarrassed? Like immediately. I know you are. I know you're embarrassed immediately because he's not going to know how to act. You're going to have to gentle parent him into going, into having the conversation, into being a pleasant person around your friends. He doesn't know what your friends do. He's not going to ask them a single question. He's going to bring down the vibe of the function. Men also will treat you differently when you have a boyfriend versus when you're single. So other men are now no longer benefiting you. They're not doing shit for you for free because you have a boyfriend, because he's supposed to be doing that. But he's not. He's not. So that's embarrassing. That's a social con. That's not a pro. Now people are asking you, when are you going to get married? When are you going to have kids? Oh,
Sugar baby talk.
Now it's all about him. That's a social con. You know, we could talk about these all day. You know, like you're worried about your boyfriend being in other people's DMs. That's a social con. You're worried about, oh my God, like if I were to loyalty test him, he probably wouldn't pass. That's a con. When we go outside, he like stares at women openly for a long time. That's a social con. Your boyfriend's a creep. My friends and I like want to go out. He is kind of a wet blanket about it. That's a con. What are the tangible cons of having a boyfriend? Again, I could make you a list like 10 miles long, but let's just go over a few that are just obvious. If you are a woman who is like already successfully living on her own, or even if you're living with like a female roommate, whatever, the tangible cons of having a boyfriend are going to haunt you every day. That man's going to show up to your place, kick off his dusty ass, dirty ass shoes, just wherever. The first thing he's going to do. Next thing he's going to do is like take off his jacket, drape it on your couch, drape it on your nice armchair, drape it on your bar stool, right? Because he's a fucking animal. Like he doesn't know how things work. He just takes that shit for granted.
Calling men animals.
Outside clothes. He's gonna throw his dirty laundry in your hamper at your apartment. He's gonna open your fridge, your and your roommate's fridge, and help himself to the treats you guys were saving for yourself when you're on your period, or, you know, PMSing or whatever, just had a hard day. And worst part is he's gonna put the container back in the fridge or back in the pantry, empty, or with like 2 crackers left inside. So in your mind, you're going to be thinking, oh, I still have that. You're going to be looking forward to that meal all day, and you're going to come home and the fucking thing is going to be empty except for like 1 or 2 crackers. You're going to want to crash out. That's a tangible con of having a boyfriend, because he takes your shit for granted, because he takes his own shit for granted. He doesn't have any friends to go to. So whenever he's upset, you're like the emotional punching bag, you know, you're like his therapist and bang maid all in one. You know, when you come over to his place, it's like basically just for
calling other women bang maids.
Apartment, the way that he feels in yours, you would have to do like the tangible labor. He doesn't do shit. How is it not embarrassing to have a boyfriend? Like, I really, like, it is. If you were expecting me as a married woman to come on here and like give a nuanced perspective of this, no, I'm not going to, because that's not what we need right now. We need this revolution to happen. Anybody, before we can have a nuanced conversation about like, what if a man makes your life better? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. When the men are making your life better, let me know. Because on a large scale, it's definitely an epidemic. Boyfriends going out of style and like it being known that boyfriends ruin your aura, that's just pattern recognition on women's part. And I couldn't be more proud. So Godspeed, ladies. You're doing the right thing. And I love you so much. Mwah.
She's a coward, because what she's saying is it's not boyfriends. It's average men, average boyfriends ruining your aura. He's not elite enough. He didn't buy you enough. He didn't buy you out of your autonomy. Y'all heard Z say that years ago. Now y'all hearing women say it. Now they finally slowly creeping. I can't wait until they actually overtly just say, to hell with all of this, burn it to the ground, because we ain't gonna end up with elite rich white men. We're slowly creeping there. The women are slowly getting there to overtly say it. That's the real issue. Huh? Trail says aura. That's what the article was saying. The author from the article, she said that. She said that. And when she kept on recording herself over and over again after the article went viral, she kept saying that. And it's the same talk with Real Talk with Yanni. It's decenter men talk. What they're saying is single women are so fun. Single women are so bright and vibrant, enthusiastic. Single women are fun, but when you get in a relationship, y'all just get so boring. Too much of you is about my man, my man, my man. What happened to fun? Huh? Because let's be clear, when women get into relationships, that skirt get a little bit longer. Huh? Maybe she's not as loud. Maybe she ain't twerking on tables. Maybe. Huh? Maybe she's not getting drunk in public. Maybe. Huh? Oh yeah, Revelant says, Z, notice how it's only heterosexual relationships? Once again, political lesbianism talk. If you sell women, especially black women, on the idea of their autonomy and their freedom and their liberation, negative liberty talk, you could pretty much get them to go in any direction. Huh? That's all this is. And to be fair, if we take a top-down approach to this and we put on our tinfoil hats, what Mr. Z hears, and shout out to Dr. Thunder for this, all of this is coping language. All of this is coping language as the elites squeeze everyone financially. And you hear women throwing a temper tantrum at average men. Instead of them railing against the same rich elite men, mainly white, that they wish they were with, they're throwing temper tantrums. And they're still not actually wording it correctly because the feminist language refuses for them to say the truth. I'm angry, I can't practice hypergamy at the highest level. So yes, the men that are available to me on average might earn 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 or 15, maybe $20,000 a year more than me. It's not enough. The men who would wife me, the men who would engage in long-term relationship with me, who might marry me, they don't earn enough. I don't get to live out the Disney princess fairy tale life with him. It's not fair. So I would rather have my autonomy and live perpetual hot girl summer than to end up with the man where I don't get to live the Disney fairy tale princess. It's all coping talk. It's all coping talk. The women are being crushed financially. If y'all think you're freezing a little bit, you know, you're like, ooh, man, the prices. You going to get groceries, you're like, ooh, the prices. These things are getting a little expensive. Ugh. If we know men can easily practice minimalism far easier than the women, if you are feeling the squeeze, what you think the women going through? Especially when you consider that the women are more likely to have college and student loan debt compared to the men, particularly in the black community. What you think she going through with that $300, $400, $500, $600, $800, $1,000 a month student loan payment? Huh? that 1,200. Plus, when you consider more and more women to hide from that student loan payment, they dig themselves in a bigger hole when they go get that master's degree, when they go to law school, huh? When they go get these 1 or 2 different certificates, huh? Quote unquote upskilling. As they're engaging in quote unquote upskilling. So she had $40,000 in student loan debt. Now she has $80,000 in student loan debt because of that master's. Huh? The women are being cowards. They're not being honest about what the issue is. There is a cap to all of that talk of autonomy while you try to practice hypergamy. If you want to know why the women sound schizophrenic, why they sound hypocritical, why when you let them talk long enough, they contradict themselves, it's because they are schizophrenic. They want their autonomy, they want their independence, they want their freedom, but they also want security and protection. Where the hell they do that at? Huh? Let the white man tell y'all again, and I'm gonna read the super chats in a minute. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Let the white man tell y'all again.
Vogue released an article saying it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, and although that's a bit dramatic, it confirms that we are living in a time where women do not need men. And not only do women not need men, they don't want men. They'd rather be single and alone than be with someone who adds absolutely nothing to their life. With that being said, there are so many good guys out there, so many great men out there, but there are so many more shitty men, and having to filter through them to find somebody who is decent has become exhausting. So they've given up. So what does this mean for men? It means that if you are a good guy, if you have a great life and you have something to offer somebody, it's your time to shine. It's your time to step up. It's not time to sit there and be like, oh, women hate us. No.
Listen to him. If you have a great life, that's mainly financially. That's, you know what that is? That's those commercials that they show of the elderly people and they climbing up a mountain and they're out there. They're on a raft and they're right. They're on a cruise, right? They're walking through a nice valley. They're bike riding. They're mountain bike riding. Huh? They're on a swing over a canal. That type of life. If you're not living that type of life, they're jet setting. Huh? You got the pyramids in Mexico in the background. You got the pyramids in Egypt in the background. Huh? You got the Taj Mahal in the background. Huh? You had the Louvre in France. You're in Red Square in Russia. Big Ben's in the background in the UK. Great life. Huh? The Grand Canyon's in the background. Huh? That spaghetti ass road in San Francisco, I think it is in the background. Right? Average men don't deserve. Look, average men, you get nothing. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams. Shout out to Jason Black. They told you. Now, Mr. Z disagrees. Y'all go see these dudes burn the world down eventually. Keep on instigating them. Keep on telling them they deserve nothing. With that, the women are saying it too. With that, this white man is telling you that also. It's elite or nothing. Fine then. Tell the women to shut the hell up then. How can you have hypergamy and equality at the same time? So elite men are chastising average men, and all women, elite or not, are chastising average men because the women don't get to practice hypergamy, but the women want equality. How the hell is this supposed to work? So the women are supposed to compete against men for jobs, promotion, opportunities in school, master's degree program, PhDs. And sometime, maybe more often than not, depending on the career field, get the promotion, get the job opportunity, get that PhD, and then still practice hypergamy? How in the hell is this supposed to work? Continuing.
Vogue released an article saying it's embarrassing to have a boyfriend, and although that's a bit dramatic, it confirms that we are living in a time where women do not need men. And not only do women not need men, they don't want men. They'd rather be single and alone than be with someone who adds absolutely nothing to their life. With that being said, there are so many good guys out there, so many great men out there, but there are so many more shitty men, and having to filter through them to find somebody who is decent has become exhausting. So they've given up. So what does this mean for men? It means that if you are a good guy, if you have a great life and you have something to offer somebody, it's your time to shine. It's your time to step up. It's not time to sit there and be like, oh, women hate us. No, they don't. Women don't hate men. They just want someone who's going to come into their life and make it better. And that might sound shallow, but you're not hearing me. You're not listening, because if you are entering into a relationship with someone, you want to be with someone who makes your life better. They make you a better person. They make you more ambitious. Whatever it may be. Women don't want someone who's just there. They want someone who's going to challenge them. They want someone who's going to support them. They want someone who's going to cheer in their success. Make them more successful. Make them smarter. Make them more traveled, more learned, more cultured. Whatever it may be. So if you are a good guy and if you have something to offer, if you have a great, whatever it may be, it's your time to step up and shoot and show it. Prove it. Do it. Don't wallow in sadness and be the guy that's like, oh, women hate us. They don't want to give us a chance. No. Because all the guys that do suck, they are giving up. As they should be. Fuck them. But if you are one of the good guys, one of the decent guys out there, don't shy away from the challenge. Continue to be a good guy. Continue to prove yourself. And continue to show your worth. Because this isn't a sex thing. There's a lot of fucking shitty women out there too. A lot of bad women who offer nothing, who bring nothing to the table. So whoever wrote this article is just really good at their job. Shout out to you. You wrote a good article. You got some buzz. And that's what you were supposed to do. Okay? Because there are a lot of good men. And there's a lot of good women, and there's a lot of shitty men, and there's a lot of shitty women. You just have to find the right one.
Too much of this is giving elite talk, even from regular people, average people. Too much, like, Mr. Z's a millennial, born in the mid-'80s. And I really appreciate how much television, social media, the internet, mass media in general, has totally corrupted the minds of the masses. But especially for those of us about 50 and down, 55 maybe and down, but definitely 50 and down, men and women, and definitely the women and some of these yitch-made dudes, mass media has totally corrupted our minds. Way too many average folks talking like elites. Elites are clearly talking like elites, while low-key virtue signaling to the masses, and then average folks thinking, moving, and talking like elites. There's a lot of crappy men, there's a lot of crappy women, and there's a handful of elites. We appreciate this, we know this. So the only people out here that should be getting married, that should be having stable relationships, that should be having children in nuclear family, that should be sending their children to college and university, to then end up with other college and university children, and then their children end up getting married. The only people that should be living this kind of stable life while they virtue signaling to the masses are the elites. Everybody else out here freestyling. Wait a minute, Z, you've been saying that part for years too. Oops. So the elites are going to continue to virtue signal to everyone, mainly the women, with all this autonomy talk and freedom talk and your power and girl power talk. Elite folks, men and women, definitely white, are going to continue to virtue signal to the masses of women about her power and her autonomy, and don't give that up for nothing and no one, and right? Meanwhile, those are the folks that more often than not get married and stay married, or more likely to stay married. They're the ones who raise children. They're the ones who children go to Ivy Leagues and near Ivies. Huh? And then average men and women are supposed to do what exactly? Now, those same men cheat on their wives with every woman. Elite women, average women, below average women, white, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise. Huh? Their wives cheat on them with everyone. Elite men, not elite men, white, black, Latino, Asian, or otherwise. but yet they are the more likely to stay married. Huh? They're the ones overlooking each other's character flaw. They're the ones growing. They're the ones who's going to tell you, oh, yeah, we've been married for 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. We've been through our ups and downs. Meanwhile, average women, first of all, are not trying to get married. Secondly, when they do get married, they're out the door 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Huh? So let me get this right. Elite men don't have character flaw. Elite white men. Ashton Kutcher over here told you he didn't take showers every single day. Meanwhile, Rihanna was over there in his house. Oops. Huh? Who's the other one that said elite white men telling you they're not taking showers every day? Meanwhile, women of all races and backgrounds are chasing after them. But once again, they don't have character flaw. They understand women, right? They're generous. They've done the work. They seek therapy. Huh? Now, all of you everyday regular men, you men of color, especially you black men, why would any woman want to be with you? Especially, why would she trade her autonomy to be with you? Mr. Z says, let those women eat all of their autonomy. Huh? Let them eat all of their autonomy. And then Nick Fuentes are waiting for them. Really what this come down to, and let Mr. Z play this again. Now, we've played this before. I don't know if the young lady is just a very fair-skinned black woman or if she's Latina or whatever background, but listen to her close, but she's going to say something, and this is really what the issue is for many women, especially concerning this article, what they're really saying and what everybody's either pretending like they don't understand or they actually don't understand it.
He don't got money like you at ESTG.
Why don't he?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's why I had to.
Just because he ain't had no money, you left him?
Had to.
That ain't right. I don't like that.
If he's making more money than me, I mean, if I'm making more money than him, I don't.
You should help him get some more money.
How am I gonna do that though? If I have my own career, I'm doing what I'm doing.
A woman's supposed to be a helpmate.
I feel like a man is supposed to be that for a girl.
A man's supposed to be a leader.
You right.
You're supposed to help him be a better leader.
I don't know. So I was in the wrong. Now I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy.
You looking for a daddy.
I ain't looking for a daddy. I got my own money. I got my own money. I could do what I do. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't need a guy for money.
But you want one.
I want a man to be stable. If I was to leave him, I want him to
So he wasn't stable?
He was okay, but I was making more than him.
So he was stable though.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So why are you leaving then? You said you just want.
Because he wasn't doing better than me. I need a guy doing better than me. And if he's not doing better than me, then.
Y'all know why Mr. Z plays this clip. For those of you that are new here, let's say why Mr. Z plays this clip. Because ESTG had to walk her down in the conversation. He walked her down. He brought her to the deep end of the pool. He didn't just accept all that crap she was saying in the beginning. All you technocrats, all you white knights, you white men, you black men, you Latino men, you Asian men, who should take what the women are saying at face value. This young lady finally said it. I need a man who's doing better than me. And if he's not doing better than me, then she's out. Now let's actually say what she really means. I need him to be doing extremely better than me. Not just better than me. It's not good enough. Hypergamous failure. Shout out to Lion. Hypergamous failure. Notice he walked her down in the conversation. So he was stable. He was all right. I mean, I guess. He's not doing well enough. It's not enough. What she's really saying is, I need a man like you, ESTG. And if I can't be with a man like you, then I might as well be single. I'm out. There's nothing wrong with her worldview. There's not, even if we scale it, fine. I guess we'll be living Elysium. Elite folks will have nuclear families and everybody else lower to the ground and just be out here freestyling. Elite folks would have children, genetically modified children, more often than not, maybe born of the woman, where she really bared the child, but that child would have been genetically modified in her tummy. And all the rest of us are just going to be out here freestyling, doing whatever, in and out of situationships with real human beings, cyborgs, robots, right? Other real human beings. Appreciate he had to walk her down. He didn't just accept what she said initially. She wanted to frame it like the young man or whoever she was with wasn't ambitious enough. But as ESTG slowly walked her down in the conversation, what did she say? It's not good enough. I need a man who's doing better than me. And if he's not doing better than me, then I'm out. She didn't speak about character flaw. Oh, wait, Z, you're wrong. The character flaw is that he's not ambitious enough. Huh? You gotta love it. Play a bit of that again, Z.
He don't got money like you, ESTG.
Why don't
That's what I'm saying.
She said from the jump.
I had to.
he? Just because he ain't had no money, you left him?
Had to.
That ain't right. I don't like that.
If he's making more money than me, I mean, if I'm making more money than him, I don't.
You should help him get some more money.
I should. How am I gonna do that though? If I have my own career, I'm doing what I'm doing.
A woman's supposed to be a helpmate.
I feel like a man is supposed to be that for a girl.
A man's supposed to be a leader.
Listen.
Right.
You're supposed to help him be a better leader.
I don't know. So I was in the wrong. Now I'm the bad guy. I'm always the bad guy.
You looking for a daddy?
I ain't looking for a daddy. I got my own money. I got my own money. I could.
And this is women. When ESTG said, you looking for a daddy? No, I'm not. I'm just looking for a man who will pay for everything while allowing me to be free and independent of him. Translation, I'm looking for a man to be my protector while allowing me to be autonomous. What? Provide for me at the highest level while allowing me to stick the middle finger at you and at other men. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Huh? So let me read these super chats, y'all. Let's read these super chats. And Eric says, Z, I'm paying you not to play these Yitch Man ninjas again. It's just too much estrogen oozing through the screen. Hysterical. I won't play the white dude again. But with that, Eric, there's a reason why we play these things. You never know who might listen to Z. You never know who might fall onto this channel. Mr. Z don't want to see human beings go the way of the dodo bird. Not only that, and I'm going to use the word fair. I don't think it's fair for it just to be elite folks to be the ones who get to experience these things. Number one. Number two, okay, fine. Z, you sound a real yitch made yourself with the fair word. Hey, you know we could always turn this into another type of game, right? Every time I hear these folks talking, I ain't gonna say no names right now, and they get into their bag and all that bravado start oozing, I'm talking about the men and the women. When y'all start telling men this step up language, all I can think to myself is, hey, you know this could turn real ugly real fast, right? All that sound nice. This could turn ugly real fast, and nobody gonna be safe. There's a reason why I'm playing this, Eric, and playing the men speaking. Because of the way people deal with and come to terms with late stage capitalism and its effects on relationship, if the way we come to deal with and come to terms with the Mouse Utopia experiment is to continue to tell your average man he is not deserving or worthy, okay, fine. Shout out to the ladies with the deserving and worthy word. Then you will find more and more men become the beautiful ones in the Mouse Utopia experiment. For those of you that don't know, the beautiful ones in the Mouse Utopia experiment were the mouse who they went up to the top and they just licked themselves all day. No pun. That's why they were called the beautiful ones. They had exquisite coats. They didn't mingle with the rest of the mouse. And it was the males. So if we're telling these men that you serve no purpose unless you're providing for the women at the absolute highest level, then you will find more and more men become recluse. Now, everyone makes fun of those men and we mock them and we call them soft and weak. No. Self-preservation. If the women are antagonistic, if the other men, elite men, are antagonistic, if other even average men who think they're elite are antagonistic, then those men will find pleasure in playing video games, doing for themselves, finding whatever hobbies. But that whole step up, the men need to do better for women. Nope. Y'all could keep on with this fake ass encouragement talk that's really just antagonistic drivel. Right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So I got you, Eric. I won't play it again. I won't play it again. Right? Well, at least not this stream. Right? And Eric Denman, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right? And I got y'all for those of you that Z, we sent a super chat damn near 2 hours ago, Z. I got you. I got y'all. Right? Y'all give Z a second. And KMS was first, and KMS is embarrassed by a man who will claim you. Embarrassed by a man who will claim you. Yitch, get on the blade. This nonsense is scaled out. KMS, I expect the ladies to sound like this. As I said, they're cowards. They're not being honest that the environment economically, socially is crushing them. They were lied to by their teachers, by their professors, by the technocrats, by media, that if they went to school and got their education, there would be some ballerific, super tall, good-looking, 8-inch member plus, six-pack having dude, their ideal man, whether he's white, whether he's black, whether he's Latino, whether he's Asian, their ideal man would be waiting for them when they cross the stage after graduation, or in somewhere in their career, right when they're ready, right when they get the baby fever. There would be some man who parachutes out of a goddamn helicopter saying, "You're the one. Marry me and let me whisk you away." This is what the women feel like they were promised. And so, yeah, they feel embarrassed. They bought in to some rich white elite man and his wife, Disney fairy tale princess that they were sold, that these elite men, these technocrats sold them, the women. And so now they're just throwing temper tantrums. They're too cowardly to say what it really is. And they're too cowardly to direct this energy to the elites. You are supposed to direct this energy to Donald Trump, to Disney, Huh? You're supposed to direct this energy to all the chief executives of all these magazines, all of these newspapers. That's who you're supposed to direct that energy to them. You're directing this energy to everyday men because you're cowards. Huh? You're supposed to direct this energy to Rupert Murdoch and Fox, to Disney and ABC, to CNN, huh? To MSNBC, and I know the split and whatnot. Yeah, I know. That's who you're supposed to direct this energy to CBS, etc., to wherever the parent company of. I think somebody they bought BET back, somebody black. So I heard, but whatever. You're supposed to direct that to. Well, it's not Viacom anymore, but whoever owned country music and BET and VH1 and MTV. That's who you're supposed to direct this to. The ladies are too cowardly. Either they don't know, and even if they did, they're too cowardly. They want the dream, so they won't direct it to the people who create the dream and the appetite. So yeah, they're embarrassed, and the women are gonna throw a temper tantrum. And you can't fire me, I quit. And if I can't have this type of lifestyle and this type of man living in this type of neighborhood, then I give up on all of it. And really, they didn't give up. They're just throwing temper tantrums like salty 7-year-olds, salty 5-year-olds. The women didn't give up. They're angry and they're throwing a temper tantrum, and they're letting you know they're throwing a temper tantrum, and they're being extremely loud. They didn't give up. Everyone that I played who said the women gave up on no, they didn't. The women, even Dr. Chris Marsh told you the women, black women in particular, that are doing well financially, never give up on their dream. The men are the ones who say, hey, if I can't get this by this age, I don't want it. The women never give up. The women are just loud with the, you can't fire me, I quit. They don't really give up. They're just loud, throwing a temper tantrum. Huh? They ain't give up. Petulant children. Huh? The women are throwing a temper tantrum. That's all. And shout out to KMS. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Eric says the thought of reciprocity is revolting to them. What reciprocity? Eric, reciprocity? Wait a minute, Eric. Nah, see, you going too far, Eric. What's this word? Don't you know the women have intrinsic value? She's gonna be more selfless than you inherently. She's going to be kinder than you, more nurturing than you inherently. Huh? She has a sense of justice, morality inherently that you don't have. You're barbaric. She's going to have to civilize you. She's going to have to teach you how to wipe your own ass. Which one is the salad fork? Not to put your elbows on the table when you eat. Huh? Reciprocity? Her mere presence in your life is reciprocity. You're the one who's going to have to elevate. Huh? She's the one who's going to have to teach you how to speak, how to use certain words, how not to see other women as just sex objects, how to treat people humanely. You don't have that inherently. She does. And even if she didn't have it inherently, she was taught it because she's a woman. And because you were a boy and you were raised to be a man, you weren't taught that. You were taught domination and conquering. She's the one who's going to have to smooth out your rough edges. She don't have any rough edges. You do. Reciprocity, her mere presence is the reciprocity. Now it's your turn to level up. God forbid she seek therapy, that confirming her biases therapy. No, Eric, she has a college degree. She was in, or she is in therapy. You, on the other hand, are barbarian. You barely know how to speak and walk at the same time. You eat with your mouth open, Eric. She has to civilize you. There's your reciprocity. You don't even take showers every day, Eric. You don't brush your teeth every day, Eric. Not even that. Not only do you not brush your teeth, you don't even try to go halfway and use mouthwash, Eric. Huh? Oh man. Shout out to you, Eric. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Reciprocity. And Vince says, all hell Balamuccio says, it amazes me in a bad way how poor the opinion and understanding of men that women have. Her whole message, I keep saying, you get Nathan, good luck. Look, some women actually mean this because this is how they were taught, this is how they were raised, and this is what mass media says. Other women pretend like they have a bad opinion of men so that it forces you as a man to step up if you buy into her opinion. Eric put the money down, so I can't play the white dude. But I got you on the technicality, Eric, because I won't play the white dude, but what I will play.
Vogue just published an article titled "Having a Boyfriend is Embarrassing." And honestly, the fact that this even had to be written is a clear wake-up call for men. Because if women, smart, independent women with their own careers, homes, and lives, are saying that being in a relationship with a man feels like a downgrade, we are clearly doing something wrong. One of the quotes really stuck with me.
And there you go. Vince, there you go. The framing of having a bad opinion and understanding of men is so that these loser-ass white knight men, and when I call them losers, that's not based off of their status or their income. It's based off of their opinion of themselves and other men. These white knight men can sound like him, can think of other men like him. Uncivilized, barbaric losers who need to be ushered in to pro-social ways of viewing men in themselves as men, and definitely women. And what does pro-social mean in their mind? Kissing women's ass and relegating, or better yet, and disciplining, that's the better word, disciplining other men for women. Huh? If you frame men as these near Neanderthal apes who need to be civilized by both women and this society, then what you will have are these weirdo white knight men who say, not me, and then those men turn around and wag their finger at other men and tell men, we got to step it up. The women are right. We need to step it up. So it's a power play. It's a power play. And there are men who are going to buy into it. There are other men who are not going to buy into it, but pretend like they do. The Derek Jacksons of the world. Huh? And there you go. And thank you for the super chat, Vince. Thank you for the super chat. All right. Shout out to all the people that actually buy into that. And Kanguru says, I've come to the conclusion that women are just selfish, all of them. And thank you for the super chat, Kanguru. Thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Does Mr. Z think that women are inherently selfish? All of them. No, not necessarily. I think a form of femininity and womanhood causes women to be selfish because it tells women that their role, whether they're educated or not, whether they talk all this talk about equality or not, their role is to be pampered by men financially. A man's role is to put his life on the line for you. The nearest man, you don't even have to be in a relationship with him. A random man is supposed to be willing to drop of a hat, at the drop of a hat, put his life on the line for you. Let alone if y'all are on a date, let alone if he is your boyfriend, definitely if he is your husband. You could have contributed nothing to planet Earth ever, but it is a man's job to do for the nearest woman. And that causes women to be selfish. Once again, what we did not tell women and girls is that if they mean equality, if they mean egalitarian, which by the way they don't, if they mean equity, they have to appreciate what they are giving up automatically. If you really mean the end of patriarchy, which once again they don't, it's patriarchy via feminist specifications, that's what they actually want. But if you really mean the end of patriarchy, if you really mean egalitarianism, equity, equality, you have to appreciate what you are giving up. The assumption that a man is supposed to be willing to risk his life for you, the assumption that a man is supposed to earn more than you, the assumption that a man is supposed to be extremely generous with his body, with his money, with his time, if he can, that assumption, you're supposed to dead that. You're supposed to end that. The women are selfish because they want, once again, patriarchy by feminist specifications. Protect, provide, and shut up. Huh? That is what the women are running into that they refuse to say out loud.
I miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up.
Huh? That is what causes women to be even more selfish. Are we as human beings inherently selfish? Well, if you consider self-preservation, then there is a line, yes, where human beings will cross into selfishness. Right? If you weren't raised to share, then yes, that's boys and girls, men and women. If you weren't taught to have a larger view of the world and of people outside of your own desires, if you weren't taught to have a systemic view of things, both men and women, boys and girls, then yes, you're going to be selfish. You're going to be self-centered. You're going to be myopic. Yes, but are women or girls inherently just selfish more than boys and men? Well, depending on the society, depending on the environment, depending on how she was raised, depending on how she was taught about what a woman or a girl's role is and what a boy or a man's role is. Yeah, she could be selfish. Inherently selfish out the womb, more than boys and men? I don't know. I would say no. But definitely the way womanhood, the way white womanhood in particular, which is the gold standard of womanhood, the way that is constructed and the way you see other women aspire for that, yeah, they're going to be selfish. Because the goal is a very elite white womanhood. The performance of elite white womanhood is the goal for all women. Working class white women, poor white women, Latinas across the board, black women across the board, Asian women across the board, particularly in the West, particularly in America. And so that's going to produce selfish women. Once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? And let's continue. Was that? Did I miss one? Wait a minute. No, not there. Okay. Well, and I forgot to play this for Vince when he says, "I keep saying you gets Nathan." Right? How did I forget to play this for you? Give me a second. Give me a second.
It's all there, black and white, clear as crystal. You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
And there you go, Vince. There you go. All right. Let me make sure. All right. And then we got that from Kanguru earlier. And wait a minute, y'all. And Kanguru also says, Z, Jason Black was bragging about getting a G class for a single mom he was dating that tried to air him out a couple of years ago. He is a simp in disguise. Look, I think Jason Black admitted that he got burned. I didn't know it was by a single mother. You know, if you got it, I expect men to spend it on the women they care about. Right? Single mother or not. Men are gonna pay. You gonna pay for the vagina, bro. You gonna pay the long way, you gonna pay the short way. Anything outside of wham bam, thank you, ma'am, one night stand, you gonna pay. You're going to pay, whether it's simply just drinks at the bar or whether it's your goddamn wife. You gonna pay. Y'all notice Mr. Z not pronouncing it, you're going to pay. No. I say you gonna pay. You gonna pay. Shout out to Black Uru. Cover your children's ears if you have your kids with you and you don't want them to hear Mr. Z say it the way it needs to be said. 3, 2, 1. Somebody got to pay for these hoes. You're going to pay. You gonna pay. Either you're gonna pay, the government's gonna pay, somebody's gonna pay. But usually the way it goes is the government and you as a man individually, you gonna pay. So I don't fault Jason Black for paying for a Benz for a woman that he liked, for a woman that he loved, single mother or not. Did he get what he was paying for? Ooh. Did he get what he was paying for? And what you find increasingly with men of various backgrounds, races, ethnicities, religions, etc., is they're not actually getting what they're paying for. A few men get to cheat the system a little bit because he looks good enough, or he's charismatic enough, he's tall enough, and funny enough, because he has some status and some money, he don't got to pay as much. That's the funniest thing of it all. Huh? A few men get to cheat the system a little bit, just a little bit. But the masses of us, we go and pay. I don't fault men for having to pay. Did you get what you paid for? Are you overpaying? And what we know is for most men, they're overpaying. You're overpaying for mediocre sex. For a woman that you find attractive enough, but she acts like she's far more attractive than she actually is. Huh? Asshole attitude. Overweight, even if you smashing, you know she overweight. You just find her cute enough. Student loan debt. You let her convince you to buy a car $5,000 or $10,000 more than what you wanted to pay, or what you could pay comfortably. Your house is $50,000 more than what you were comfortable with. 60, 70. Huh? Yikes. Shout out to the ladies. Huh? I don't fault him for paying. Even for a single mom. Low key, all that means is that at one point Jason Black was, as Anton says, a step crash dummy. That's all that means. And thank you for the super chat, Kangaroo. Thank you for the super chat. Huh? For all of us have simped. Shout out to Dr. Thunder. For all of us have simped. And Els Active says, don't embarrass the ladies, fellas, and take that trip. Look, and they're dying for that. I've said this before. The women are throwing a temper tantrum when it comes to passport bros because for them it's not fair because you're cheating the system. You're supposed to stay here and quote unquote improve for them. It's not fair because too many of you passport bros are cheating the system when you coming back with a Latina wife or an Asian wife, huh? An African wife who is not your maid. She gonna talk back every once in a while, huh? She gonna spend a little bit more than you needed her or wanted her to, but she's still a wife, huh? She's still a wife. Every once in a while, you gonna come home, the food ain't gonna be on the table, huh? You better believe she gonna be hiding money from you. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But she's still a wife. The issue the women have is that the passport bros are cheating the system because they're supposed to stay here and take this tongue lashing for the women. No giggity, no pun. And so I agree with Els Active. If you can't find a woman that's a wife, not a partner, a woman that's a wife in America, then well, happy voyage. And Els Active, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. No. And Bruce Owen Wayne says, and thank you for the super chat, pick him energy, vagina under balls type. The pick him energy, which is the men sounding, well, like this.
They're calling out the weird ass pick-me's that make having a boyfriend their whole personality, and also deconstructing and trying to leave behind the traditional heterosexual relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like women don't have to be in relationships that they don't want to be in anymore. Like back in the day, they had to stay with their men because they had to do that in order to survive, in order to be able to have access to money and funds and things like that. Women can just up and leave now, and that shit's cool as hell, bro. And it's really cool to me that women are leaving behind these traditional gender roles because, like, not everybody is meant to be a traditional woman or traditional man. And you trying to force yourself into that kind of way of living is not healthy for you. And it only creates insecurity within yourself. Because, like, if you're unable to fulfill these kind of gender roles, it's going to lead to you feeling like you're less of a man or less than a woman. And then on the other hand, it's great for me because I hate a woman that makes being a girlfriend or wanting to be a wife her whole personality. Because there's nothing else going on in her life. And to me, I want my relationship to go as, like, us being our own separate people. We just happen to be dating. We just happen to be together. You know what I'm saying? I want to feel like we both have our own autonomy and we both can, like, go out and do things without each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause to me, that's the best kind of relationship. And if you disagree, that's up to you. Like that live your life how you want to live it. But like for me, I need that sense of self. I don't need to feel like I have to be around you all the time. But yeah, man, shout out Shantae Joseph. She did her thing. She was really in her bag. Her pen was.
Yes, y'all, it's giving rainbow. He may not be, but it is giving rainbow. I saw y'all comments, yes. And the other brother that I played earlier. With that, quite frankly, this is just the tyranny of the minority. So the beauty of the internet and social media is that minority groups have a voice now. They don't have to go through mainstream channels to get their voice out there. That's a positive thing. The negative is that some of these folks with the microphone, their opinions get amplified to the point where it looks like they represent far more people than they actually do. That's number two. Number three, the tyranny of the minority issue is when we start having the conversation of the what about me? What about the people like me? Well, you represent like 0.5% of the population. You represent 5% of the population. Okay, fine. You might represent 10% of the population. Why do we have to change the entire world for your 0.5, for your 1%, for your 5%, for your 10%? Huh? So as this young man is speaking about how he thinks it's so great, the masses of men don't. What he's saying is, well, I'm on the right side of history. Me and the women are on the right side of history. This is great. All the masses of you men, you 80%, you 90%, maybe even you 70%, y'all are wrong. The tyranny of the minority. We need to bend the whole world to me and my view, because I'm on the right side of history. Huh? Appreciate this is not about mistreatment. You can't make the same argument about, let's say, black folks in America and their history, because this is not about mistreatment of women. This is about what women think they're owed by men. What women refusing to appreciate that with equality, you don't get hypergamy. They're framing it in certain ways for men like this to sound the way they do, because these men are too cowardly or too ignorant to appreciate the women's complaint is not that surface level crap they're saying. The women's complaint is that for enough of them, not most and not all, it's not fair that they're earning $80,000+ a year, $75,000+ a year, and the $120,000 a year men, the $150,000 a year men, the $200,000 a year men aren't marrying them. Average women are also complaining that in their mind, they're relegated to average men. Pick him energy. Shout out to Bruce. Thank you for the super chat. Els Active says, this is man versus bear 2.0. Yeah, women just talking. Look, they're just throwing a temper tantrum, bro. Let these women be single indefinitely, especially for those of us millennials and Gen Z. We're just going to watch women struggle financially for the rest of their life. You know, when I was watching, what's the name of that channel again? A Space for Her. LGBTQ channel. I know they changed their name and they kind of broke up. There's new stuff that they're doing. They kind of took the channel a different direction, but they used to call it a space for women, a space for her, a space for, I can't remember, but it was an LGBTQ channel. I think they were based out of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. And a number of those women, I remember one of the episodes, a number of them, it was most of them actually, who said they never been good financially. These were women like in their pretty much mid 40s to like mid 20s. Now remember, I said mid 40s to mid 20s. A bunch of them in their 30s, I think some of them in mid 40s, and a bunch of them kept up. I've never been good financially. I've been, and when I say that, I mean like not even stable. The women just refuse to admit they don't got it. They're struggling financially. The man versus bear stuff, the way the women are speaking now, they're just struggling financially, but they refuse to say it overtly. Just let them struggle. Let them be single and struggle for the rest of their life. Let the bear eat their face. Let Nick Fuentes eat their face. Let Stephen Miller eat their face. Eventually, we're going to have a Democratic president. We're going to have a Democratic Congress in America, right? They're going to propose progressive policies. It still ain't going to save the women. They're going to be out here struggling. Men subsidize women. If the women refuse to be in relationship, they're going to try to cheat the system by sugar baby this and sugar baby that and low key soft core 10 toes. They're going to be low key soft core on the blade. If you like me, link my Cash App type talk. Huh? If that's what the women are going to engage in, so be it. Let the bear eat their face. Let them choose the bear and let the bear eat their face, Els. Same thing with y'all in the UK. Right? Oh man. So Els, thank you for the super chat. Let the bear eat those white women and especially those black women in the UK. Let them eat their face. Let it bite their face straight off. Huh? If that's the type of time they're on. And Dwayne says, and thank you for the super chat. How does red pill promote abuse towards women? And yes, the implication is that most men don't deserve love. Yeah. In their mind, what they've convinced themselves is that we're a bunch of he-man woman haters. And for them, the abuse towards women is really about, I would argue at least, you're not doing for women, right? Like, is it really promoting abuse of women? No, no. I would argue even the white dudes I've listened to, they're not talking about abusing women. They're talking about getting the hell away. They're saying, hey, improve yourself, go to the gym, make this money, and then you get to eeny, meeny, miny, mo what type of women you want to bring into your life, whether they're going to be passport bros or not. Black men and non-black men, anyone I hear with any type of red pill, that's what they're saying. Abuse of women, no one's promoting abuse of women. Everyone's pretty much saying, get the hell away from these weirdos. Get the hell away from these weirdo women. These mean-spirited women, these sassy, snarky, rude women, the women that get off on being assholes, the women that get off on being misandrous, and the system is turning a blind eye to it. Everybody's pretending like they don't hear the women. Get the hell away from them. I don't know if anyone's promoting abusing women. So yeah, the how does the red pill promote abuse of women? The women are going to frame it like that for the white pill. Oh, excuse me, the white knight men. I might as well call it the white pill. The white knight men. The white knight pill, better yet, right? They're going to frame it like that for the technocrats. They got to say that because the men aren't being incendiary enough. Because the men aren't actually saying that. So the women got to say that. Because you're really not moving the envelope. You're not getting enough people to pay attention to the men. If you say, well, the men are telling other men that if they don't earn enough and if to get away from us and to level up and to do better with themselves, and then maybe they can engage in dating and then they can choose which type of women they want in their life. That's not incendiary enough. Nobody's paying attention enough. Huh? So they gotta say red pill promotes the abuse of women. Huh? Because who's gonna listen to the women in their complaints if the women say, and if weirdo white knight men say, the issue is too many men are telling the men to stay away from women if you can't afford her. Right? And that the women just see you as a walking wall and overglorified guard dog. So you might as well get your weight up. That way you could choose which women you choose to spend time with and spend money on. It's not sexist enough. Really, the issue is that we're not sexist enough. We're not misogynistic enough. Huh? And Dwayne, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Dwayne also says, also, why do black women promote this transactional culture? Cause the gaslighting from black women about black women not seeing black men as human is irritating. They promote the transactional culture because this is their way of catching up to white women. In their mind, it's not fair that they're told to love poor men. Huh? It's not fair that they're told to be in relationship with poor loser black men. First, you're a black man in a white supremacist anti-black society. Then you might not be rich, okay, and you're not super tall and good looking, and then she's supposed to be with you? No, the way that you alleviate the situation, the way that you remedy the situation is by damn there being a Spartan about black men. Huh? Yikes.
This is what I tell average looking and below average looking women. If you can't date up, be alone. Life is easier that way. And I know that's controversial. I don't care. I don't care.
But my thing is, like, I don't understand the obsession with trying to make black women settle so much. Y'all don't do this with any other community. Like, seriously.
Huh? That's why they're doing transactional. Now, well, that's one of the reasons why they're engaging in this transactional or attempting to be transactional. Because it's not fair. White women aren't told to settle. So you got to engage in transactional with black men so that black men can pay for, one, not being white men in this society, and two, elevating you to some type of facsimile of white womanhood, elite white womanhood, the myth of white womanhood, everyone. So yeah, you don't get to be a white woman as a black woman, but yeah, if you go about relationship or any type of situation with black men transactional, then you're gonna put him in the position to get you that Louis bag, to get you that G-Wagon, huh? To put that condo in your name, that luxury apartment in your name, and to pay for it, of course, huh? To take you on expensive trips so you could take pictures, obviously without him in it. And if he is in it, you're definitely not going to show his face, huh? Yeah, black women were born and raised in this society too, everyone. And if Latinos and Asians and Arabs and white folks are anti-black, why wouldn't black women be anti-black? Anti-black man. Black women consume the same type of music, the same type of print media, the same type of movies and television shows. So yeah, she gonna be anti-black too. So if many, if not most, non-black people see black men and all they transactional, are you a football player? Are you a basketball player? What are you gonna do for me? Okay, you're my employee. What do you get? If they're transactional with you, then why wouldn't black women be transactional with you? Huh? So Dwayne, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. That's why we say decolonize your mind, specifically speaking about black people, but also non-black people, other people of color, but definitely black people. If you don't decolonize your mind as a black person, before we even say black women, then of course you're going to have the most negative view of other black people. Black women assume they're morally superior to everyone else, including black men. So if she does not decolonize her mind, if she just goes with the flow, she learns what she learns in college, she learns what she learns in high school, she learns what she learns through media, mass media, then of course she's going to have a transactional negative view of black manhood, of black men. And she's going to be transactional, right? How else is she supposed to see these things? And thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. All right, so there's that. And let me see. Give me a second. Trying to make sure we get all of them. Oh, Toya, thank you for the super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker, Toya. And thank you for listening in. All right, I appreciate black women listening in also, right? I know I got some secret listeners. Toya is one of the few people. Well, Toya is like the only one that let herself be known. Every once in a while, I'll get a comment from a young lady, an email, definitely emails. Every once in a blue, maybe twice a year, once or twice a year, I'll get an email from a young lady that says something like, I'm not one of those people, Z, and thank you. Thank you for not being. We're going to take you at face value. Thank you for not being one of those people, one of those anti-black men, black women. But Toya is one of the few that let herself be known. And shout out to Toya for that. Every once in a while, Karina pop up and say something, but yeah. Right. And shout out to Toya. Shout out to Toya. All right. And thank you for the super sticker, Toya. Right. And let's see. Try to make sure I don't miss any of yours. And KMS says, if, when, question mark, the culling starts, the simps will be first. Oh, we've been established that, right? We've been established that. The issue with the simp is whether he's genuine or not, is you're in the way. You're just in the way, right? The reason why we call you simps, I want to be very clear. You're not quote unquote defending women. You're lying to them and you're encouraging them to be delusional. You are okay with them being mean, antagonistic trolls. As a matter of fact, you think that's the way it should be because it's cosmic justice, because some Middle Eastern man backhanded his wife 3,000 years ago. Huh? This cosmic justice, cosmic retribution crap. Some man barked on his wife 40 years ago because when he came home, the meatloaf wasn't on the table, and so all men must feel it now. The wrath of women. Huh? So the simps are in the way, and the actual quote unquote authentic simps, whatever that means, the genuine simps, whatever that means, the white knights think they're doing women a service and a favor because the women are right and the men are wrong. And it is his job to quote unquote defend the women from men, well, like Z. Huh? From men like Z. Yikes. And KMS, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And Straight Money says, just paying my tithe to the church. Great content. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Right. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And look, brother, we're going through this journey together. Yes, Mr. Z. And for those of you that don't know, Mr. Z not going to try to hide no damn relationship like Paris Milan did with her marriage. Mr. Z is engaged, yes, to a black woman, yes, to ADOS black woman, right? ADOS on both sides, mom and dad side. So we're not going to try to hide that. And we're not going to encourage you like the young lady I played, the white young lady I played. We're not going to encourage you to talk crazy about women while you in a relationship. Mr. Z is not about talking crazy about women just because. We are critiquing their behavior. We are critiquing their coping mechanism for being women in America in the 21st century while their ancestors fought for equality. And now the women got to come to terms with equality and hypergamy at the same time because that's what they really want. Huh? We are going through this journey together. Those of us that are single, those of us that are in relationships, those of us that are married, those of us with children, daughters, those of us with children, sons, those of us with daughters and sons, nieces and nephews. We are all on this journey together, going through it together with wayward ass women and girls, huh? Who talk all this crazy crap because they can't come to terms with this is what your foremothers fought for. They fought for your autonomy, your freedom, and your liberation. And you got that. And it cost. So I just happen to be the one on the pulpit right now. But sometimes I'm the one in the pews. As a matter of fact, most time Mr. Z is the one in the pews. Right? And Mr. Z is not just consuming man-woman content, red pill content. I am watching stuff about the economy. I'm watching finance professors. I'm watching social scientists. I'm watching philosophers. I'm watching Mr. Z is all over these YouTube streets and low-key Instagram streets. Huh? So shout out to you, Trey Money. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right now, I'm on the pulpit, but later on, I will be in the pews. All right. So thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. All right. And we got that super sticker from Toya earlier. Trying to make sure we don't forget about anyone. And Vince is, and thank you for the super chat. All hell Balamuccio says, we need to start enforcing GameStop trade-in rules. Wait, where did that come from? I'm a little lost. right? I'm a little lost. What you mean, like how GameStop be um screwing us over with them trading values? You bought the game for 60, 70 bucks. You know they gonna sell it to the next person for 30 bucks, 40 bucks, $35, but they only want to offer you $12 for the game. You mean those type of rules, Vince? Shout out to GameStop, right? Shout out to GameStop. GameStop said, look, we know you bought the game for $60. Now it's gonna be like 70 bucks for these games. We know you bought it for 70 bucks, but the trading value is $15. Then we're gonna turn around, make sure everything is clean with it, and then we're gonna sell it for 35, 40 bucks. Shout out to GameStop. And Vince, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right. And that's what Vince is talking about, right? Okay. Just making sure. Right. I hope I didn't miss any of you guys' super chats. If I missed any, I definitely missed all of you guys' comments over the past, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. And I was making sure we got to the super chats and right. Man. So I just wanted to come to y'all with this today and give y'all a quick little stream. This is not a reckless stream, but Mr. Z. Oh, you know what, Dwayne? I missed this. And Dwayne says they gonna end up in the Gilead talking like this, Mr. Z. I don't think if everything went left, I do think you have a number of women who gonna find themselves in the worst position, Mad Max style. But some of us as men too, Mr. Z. I'll make sure to sound as realistic as possible. The men are not bulletproof. As these times get crazy, some of us are gonna be freezing too. Some of us that are doing okay gonna be freezing too. You're gonna get a little frostbite, just a little bit. Your beard gonna have some icicles in it, huh? Appreciate this though. The women are going to go through it the worst way because of how ill prepared they are. They were the ones who were lied to over the past 4 decades, 5 decades about being bulletproof. They were the ones who were encouraged to be single if you can't find a man to buy you through life. And if he's not kissing your ass while he's doing it. So as things go left and as things readjust, and this is what I think is where the world we're walking into. Family is going to be more and more important, right? Being single is going to cost more and more for women. But to be fair, I think so many women have made themselves insufferable and can't connect to a man that way and are so egotistical and prideful that they just gonna be single and they're gonna struggle through that. I think so many women, they're going to do the acolyte or they're gonna be it's gonna be a coven. It's gonna be a loose coven. I've said it before. The Roma or Gypsy class of America, Black women in specific, is going to be the acolyte. What they call it, Brindok's coven or something like that. Brindok coven. It's going to be that. The women don't earn enough financially to be out on their own. Not the masses of them. They don't earn enough. Huh? And I would argue the masses of women will never. And as this economy becomes this kind of weirdo gigafied economy, this kind of and this is scary to Z that we're slowly moving into like this kind of day laborer economy. Slowly but surely. Right? This kind of gigafied day labor economy. women are really going to be screwed. It's going to hurt men, especially for those of us who grew up knowing the 9 to 5 grind. It's really going to screw women because you could always get a job working on somebody's roof, laying towel, something along those lines. What are the women going to be doing? You could get a job on a construction site. Huh? What are the women going to be doing? Huh? The elite family don't need that many maids. They don't need a whole house of cooks. The elite men can only provide for so many side chicks. So at the end of the day, it's going to be a coven for the women. For the women who are not attached to a man, for the women who said, screw it, it ain't worth it, it's going to be a coven. And they still going to be struggling, by the way. A whole bunch of non-reproducing women and the queen bee and maybe her close circle with a few kids. How else is it supposed to turn out? Damn, Z, you just painted a dark picture. But somebody tells Z he wrong. The women aren't having kids now. The women aren't having kids now, y'all. Including in the black community, specifically in the black community. Over the 50% income line, the women aren't having children now. So as things turn dark, Dwayne, look, a lot of these black women are going to be out here. Mystics, witchcraft, huh? Religious fundamentalists. Because they need to hold on to something supernatural so they can deal with life. That's the only thing that's going to keep them minimally sane. Emphasis on the word minimally. The only reason they're not going to be in damn straitjackets is because of that sisterhood and whatever spiritual practice they have. Voodoo, hoodoo, witchcraft, whatever crap they come up with. Huh? Because I think the technology is going to be super dope. I'm not talking about 2 years from now, 5 years from now, even 10 years. I'm talking about 30 years from now, 50 years from now, a century from now. The technology will allow for people to live a lot of the life that you want to live. Some of us are going to be in relationships. Some of us are going to be in relationships with cyborgs and robots. I know it sounds crazy now. I'm talking about the new normal in the next 50 years, century. We're going to have children born out of bio bags. The women, on the other hand, black women, man, come on now. It really is going to be a hive. I'm calling it now. They're pretty much already there. Everything I played for y'all with the women is straight political lesbianism. The only thing the masses of them are doing, they're not engaging in the sexual aspect of the political lesbianism. The rhetoric, the worldview, the way they see men, the way they see womanhood, it's all political lesbianism. The only thing they're not doing is munching on each other. Not all of them anyway. Thank you for the super chat, Dwayne. Thank you for the super chat. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. The women gonna be out here munching on each other, y'all. Huh? I'm telling y'all. Starman said 12 hour DoorDash shifts. Jesus. Huh? That's all, man. I know it's a dark view. I think when it comes to technology, when it comes to certain things being available, you're going to be able to curate your reality. Think about, they're not going to need, and because I heard Black Uru say that, and I thought about it, he's right. They're not going to need to have us in school for our kids how many hours out the day, right? We're slowly walking to that world. We don't need the children to grow up to be cogs in the machine and work the factory floor or be in somebody's cubicle. Huh? We're not going to need that. Right? Look at how many people they tell you who are rushing to law school or rushing to go get their master's degree because of the environment. That's going to dry up eventually. Mr. Z want to go back to school, by the way. So I'm not even trying to be a whole hypocrite. With that, a lot of stuff going to dry up. We're going to have the technology and the machines and the AI that's going to be able to do all of this. So what are your average person going to be doing? Because the population going to dwindle, and the people that are able to curate their own life, low-key their own reality, you think Black women in 50, 60 years are not going to be out here in co-munching covens? You think I'm just coming out of nowhere with that? Black women going to be out here co-munching covens. Because I don't see the technology of white supremacy, the white ideology going anywhere anytime soon. I suspect if you're going to have an Elysium, you're going to have an acolyte, a Bryndock's coven. Probably led by Black women or a Black woman, maybe a white woman. Either way, there's going to be mystic women doing their thing, right? While the rest of us live some type of Blade Runner type life, cyberpunk type life. Huh? And the elites live the Elysium life. Damn, Z, that sounds dark. But is it, or is it just going to be the new normal? Huh? Your great grandson, is he going to think that's a bad thing? Or is it just going to be his normal life? Cyberpunk. Huh? Just saying. Had a soul says, had asshole says, shout out to Toya. I didn't forget the correction, Toya. I didn't forget the correction. Had asshole says, automation AI is feminism's greatest enemy going forward, or its greatest liberator. If the women said they want their autonomy, they gonna get it. Had a soul, they're going to get every single bit of that autonomy, and they're gonna hate it. They're going to hate it because what they don't appreciate is if you're free of men, guess what? Dun dun dun! Men are free of you. If you are free not to consider what men consider, then men are free to not consider what you consider. If you're not obligated to men, then men are not obligated to you. You're going to get every bit of that autonomy. Good luck. That's all. Huh? That's all. That's all. Look, the women said they want their autonomy, and they're going to get automation. Huh? That's all. Right? So that, I know it's a dark picture. I know. And I'm not trying to paint a dark picture just to paint a dark picture, everyone. That's not Mr. Z's goal, just to say this kind of depressing or sobering thing. I think it's going to be the new normal. I think eventually you're going to have some type of UBI. You're going to have folks that it's not enough for the life they want to live. They don't want to live in some type of, for all of us that's seen the little mini docs about Hong Kong and how some of them folks is living in like borderline chicken wire shoebox joints. For all of us that's seen it, that's not going to be enough for some of us. So we're going to come out here and try to gig together certain things. We're going to be gig this, gig that, you know, day laborer this, day laborer that, so we can try to live a little bit above that, whatever the base UBI life affords you, right? Whatever the base UBI life affords you, we're going to try to live better than that. So we're going to try to piece together this gig and day laborer crap. And for everyone else, well, there you go. And whatever the new crimes are going to be, right? So, man, I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing, though. For the first time, I think, in human history, we're going to be free to do and live however you want to. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Not necessarily. Right? And if you want to be coupled up with someone, you can be. But your freedom going cost. Your freedom is going to cost. And for those folks who it's too much, you can still couple up with someone, or you can do your polygamy thing, or what's the thing when they have their polycule thing. Shout out to the folks who's going to try to pull that. Or you could do your coven thing. On the man side, there might be borderline pirates out here and booty bandits. This is just a group of dudes hacking stuff and piping each other. That's going to exist too. I would argue it's going to be far less of that, especially on the sexual type of time, than the women. And quite frankly, by that point, it's not even going to matter. It's not even going to matter. Will it matter who you doing, what you doing with, when you got bio bags and you can have a child? Will it matter? If y'all think the TRANS thing is crazy now, wait until it's not going to cost that much and it's not going to be so invasive of a procedure. Huh? Just saying. It's going to be a crazy ass world. I suspect it's going to be a crazy ass world. Huh? Yikes. But How to Soul, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. I see y'all. Saints say, hey, yo, I'm saying. Mark says, shaking my head. GC says, Jesus. Huh? Starman said, roving homo thug gangs is crazy. But tell me I'm wrong, though, Starman. Think about it. Tell me I'm wrong. For real. Right? I'm not advocating for this. I'm saying this is going to be a thing. What's going to stop it from being a thing? Right? When you can create the friendship and the family you want, right? When you live in that type of environment, what's going to keep men or women from saying, "Oh, that straight thing? Oh, nah, who does that? What's gonna keep that from happening? What's gonna keep men from saying, you know what? I'm over here chilling with other dudes and we do what we do, but I do want to have an air. I do have a few nice things, right? I think I can leave some more stuff behind. Okay, I'm gonna go to the little, you know, clinic and go order me a son. What's gonna keep people from doing that? There might be laws to keep you from transferring your consciousness, if they have such a thing, from you like doing the Ochimaru thing, right? Off of Naruto, where you just keep on body hopping. There might be laws against that, but outside of that, you know, like you do your thing with other dudes in your little roving gang of homo thugs, like you said, and then you go order you a son at the clinic, and then you raise him, and then pass your things on to him, pass your heirlooms on to him, or whatever the hell. No pun on that part, right? Same thing with the women, right? I'm saying it's going to be far less of that going on with the men, especially on the sexual type of time, than the women. I think what's going to happen, especially when we have the technology, is more and more men are going to be out here with like the most realistic humanoid style robots humanly possible, with the most kind of realistic personalities possible. And it's going to, and when, if that can't gestate children, then they'll go and order them children in due time when they can afford it. I think that's the type of time the masses of men are going to be on, but not women, right? Not women. I don't think women are going to be on that type of time. I think the men are going to be on that type of time. The women can afford their life now, y'all. You think the women are going to spend money? Who here thinks women are going to spend $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 on a humanoid male robot, and then they're going to program it to have a personality to cater to them and practically be a maid? No. What's going to happen, a few of them will, but really what's going to happen are men are going to spend that $25,000, $30,000 on a humanoid robot woman with a little bit of talk back, who has their dinner on the table, who has a good wet. What the hell are you saying, Z? I know. Huh? Who is as realistic as a woman is humanly possible. The men are spend that money. And she's not going to leave you. She's not going to divorce you. Huh? She going to be a little sassy sometimes. But she going to cook. She going to clean. She going to look out. The men are going to spend that money. The men will spend $50,000 and just finance it. The men will spend $60,000, $70,000, $70,000 for a wife that ain't gonna leave you, and you could finance it over the span of 5, 7 years. The men will spend it. A woman who ain't gonna divorce you, she look how you want her to look. The men will spend it. Somebody tell me the men not gonna spend it. Who? Who want to tell me the men are not gonna spend? Who tell me the men are not gonna finance an $80,000 robot that's not gonna divorce them, that's gonna cook, that's gonna clean, that's gonna look out, that's not gonna complain about the apartment being too small? And when you want to have children, let's say the robots don't gestate, you go and go finance and go pay for your kid $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Okay, they're gonna bill for $120,000. Shrugs. At least she's not gonna divorce you. You think the men are not gonna do that? Wouldn't do that? The ones that can afford it. The women are gonna be out here in the covets because the women ain't spending no 80 grand for no man. I see somebody said, maybe Ebony K will. Yeah, okay. I'm Waffle says Ebony K will. Yeah, women like her, maybe. I agree with you actually on that one. Women like Ebony K. Williams, maybe. Maybe. But outside of Ebony K and a handful of other women like her, the Oprahs of the world, huh? Maybe her. But outside, the women ain't spending no $50,000, $80,000 on no robot man. No matter what he do. He could flick her bean all from the second she get home. Have the food on the table and all. Let her take her anger out on him, punch him all in the face. The women ain't doing that. And women ain't financing no damn $100,000 robot. No $80,000, $50,000 robot. No matter how tall, no matter how good looking, and then to have kind of realistic tendencies. Women ain't trying to do that. They don't want no man that's gonna be like, hell no, you ain't going out with that. They're not financing a $80,000 robot, let alone a $50,000 one. The women ain't doing it. Yeah. See what I'm saying? And Oppo says $70K for Digi Jessica, hysterical. $30K for each test tube baby, $2K a month for apartment and other smaller expenses. You think men ain't gonna sign up for that if they can? Because after you pay that $70K for Digi Jessica, that's it. Let's say it updates every year or two, couple racks. But $70K, that's it. For a lifetime? Man, stop it. $30K for the babies for a lifetime? You know, of course, you're going to have to fund your children as you're raising them. But $30K initially, you finance that. Let's say at the end of the day, you're done with paying for the 2 kids. Let's say you got 2 kids. That's 60,000 plus 70 is 130. And you're earning $75,000 a year, $80,000 a year. You gonna finish pay that stuff off? What, in 10, 15? Okay, let's say it take you 20 years to pay it off. 20 years, 15 years. For some of y'all that's earning really good money, you pay that off in 10 years. Even if it takes you 25 years, you know what's not gonna happen at the end of 25 years? That robot leave your ass. The women ain't gonna do it. The men will. That's why I'm saying it now. You put when Mr. Z's saying on a long enough timeline, okay, fine, it ain't gonna happen in 50 years. It'll happen in a century though. In a century and a half, you put what I'm saying at a long enough timeline, I promise you what I'm saying is gonna happen. Because the women are never gonna earn enough. Human women will never earn enough. And they're not gonna spend it. I want to be very clear. The way women are built, white, black, Latina, Asian, or otherwise, they're not going to spend money on no goddamn Digiman, robot man. They're not going to do it. And then program it to be somewhat realistic. They ain't going to do that. They'll spend money on a Digi maid around the house, maybe with a male voice, but the whole relationship experience that's going to cost way more and be way more realistic. Nah, they ain't doing it. They're not. I don't see it. And that's the thing. That's the thing right there, Kel. Robo Zaddy not paying rent. Because think about what we're saying the difference between men and women is. The men are still gonna have to pay their rent and whatever form of transportation that is in the future. They're still gonna have to do that. They're still gonna have to pay for the children to go to school if there's some type of schooling, whatever the hell. and pay for that robot and finance that robot and pay for it. You trying to tell me the women gonna do that? Which women are gonna do that? Pay for a daughter, 30,000, then raise and pay for the daughter by themselves. By the way, then go pay for the Digiman, the Digi robot. For many of these weirdo women, swirler women, white, black, well, not white, but Latina, black, and otherwise, Asian and otherwise, go get them the tall, good-looking, Henry Cavill-looking ass robot, and then pay for it for the next 10 years? Oh, hell no. It ain't gonna happen. They're gonna get in that coven. That's what's gonna happen. Huh? They're gonna go ahead and get in that coven. And then, God forbid, one or two men in the circle get that, you better believe the circle gonna have that. And as more and more men deal with Digi Jessica, that leaves more and more women out there for the coven, enticed by the coven. Because once a man deals with a robot that might give him some pushback, might be a little sassy, a little snarky, a little spice, just a little spice, little seasoning. You trying to tell me he gonna deal with a real woman after that? Absolutely not. He ain't going to no real woman after that. Huh? So this is Mr. Z's, future prediction. This is Mr. Z's prediction for the future, especially with the women talking like this. Being with a boyfriend is embarrassing. Hey, our great grandson's gonna make the women mean that. I don't even think it's gonna be that many greats. I think our great grandson's gonna make the women mean that. If not even our great grandsons, but our great grandsons, oh yeah, they're gonna make the women mean that. It may not happen tomorrow. Whoever y'all are in the future and the next 100 years, make sure to put a comment in the comment section. Mr. Z was right. How did you know? Huh? I'm not saying. Look, y'all, we might see this as a dark, depressing future. It's just gonna be normal for them in the future. Huh? It's just gonna be normal for them. Huh? Our great grandsons, it's just gonna be normal for them. All right. Because think about the difference between us and our great grandfathers coming. Well, let's start the clock at 1900. Think about how far we've come technologically. Think about who was speaking about polycules in 1900. Huh? Who was talking about polycules? Who was attending high schools with a couple thousand people in 1900? Huh? A couple thousand students. Who could have ever imagined, maybe some of the scientists, a cell phone in 1900 with internet connectivity that connects to your smartwatch and your headphones? Mr. Z is describing himself right now. Huh? Who could have ever considered or thought up social media in 1900? We're talking about your everyday person. I'm not talking about your scientists. Huh? Your inventors. Right? Who would have considered a automobile, because Mercedes-Benz, that was what, 1880 something, or 1870 something like that. Who would have considered, could Mercedes-Benz even imagine not just the automobile, an enclosed automobile with AC that can drive itself, that, well, some of the earlier cars, some of them were battery powered, funny enough. That's battery powered, right? Like, who would have considered? That's just how far we've come in the past 120 some odd years. You imagine the next 120 some odd years? 125 years? We're talking about 2150, right? In 2150, could you imagine if we don't nuke ourselves off the planet? And we don't nuke ourselves off the planet, or the aliens don't come and wipe us out for the water or the gold or whatever the hell we have that they don't have. Huh? So that's all Mr. Z is saying. That's all Mr. Z is saying. Huh? So on that note, y'all, look, we hit the 3-hour mark. Y'all got me. Y'all got me with the 3-hour mark. Shout out to the replay gang. Shout out to those of you for listening in. We kept steady at around 100 folks listening today. So thank y'all for listening. Like, share, subscribe, hit the thank you button for the replay gang, hype button, right? Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. We covered this article again, and I know I went on a tangent for the last, I don't know, hour, maybe 45 minutes. We covered this article one more again. Hopefully this is the last time. I'm trying to promise y'all it's the last time. We covered this article to emphasize to the future us, to our grandsons and granddaughters, that whatever you see, I am keeping record of this, how we got here. So in the future, if what happens is they try to paint men as these barbaric monsters that just didn't want to get up with the times, we're going to keep record of these antagonistic, mean, rude, snarky, entitled, hyper-consumer, hyper-materialistic women and their white knight acolytes that helped to get us here. And yes, I said what I meant earlier when I said breadcrumbing, and I mentioned Hansel and Gretel. And how did that turn out for Hansel and Gretel? Oops. So the women are breadcrumbing themselves into the coven. And all Mr. Z is doing now is documenting it, speaking to other black men. Shout out to the Black Manosphere. We're going to keep on talking about the economic environment. We're going to keep on talking about technology. We're going to keep on talking about politics. And obviously, wayward women, definitely wayward black women. Huh? Kevin Murray says, sorry, fellas, I can't hang out today. My girlfriend's in the shop. Hysterical. Huh? And I didn't even describe the isekai animes and kind of the alternative reality stuff that we're going to probably be able to live, the Star Ocean Online stuff type things, or online. Y'all know what Mr. Z said. I'm getting my different games and animes mixed up right now. But yeah, all of that stuff, right? It's just going to be a different, for those of you that don't have an idea of what Mr. Z is talking about. There's cartoons and animes and movies that kind of speak to this. Blade Runners, y'all check that out. Cyberpunk, that's on Netflix right now. Y'all check that out. What's the name of the isekai that's on? I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It was a couple years ago, but there's a couple of animes on Netflix that kind of speak to this. But yeah, those type of things. That's what we're speaking about. All right. Sword Art Online. Thank you, Starman, for knowing what I was trying to say. Yeah, y'all check those out. And so the obviously the main storyline, you're gonna get caught up in that, but check out the background. Check out what's going on in the background of the storyline. The life the main character is living in real life, right? Or what's going on in the background, the some of the side characters and what they say, and some of the non-speaking roles and what's going on there, the environment in the background, right? The time they're living in. Right? And some of that will inform you of what I'm speaking about. And I do think our future is going to be that. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's just going to be a new normal. Who would have ever considered a pacemaker back in 1850? We got pacemakers now. Talk about Dick Cheney, right? Who would ever considered that? Just saying. Boston Dynamics and the robots they're working on. Think about the drones, right? Now China got hypersonic missiles that could change direction midair type thing, right? Just saying. If we've been able to do this, right? When did the Wright brothers first take flight? And then think about it. What, 50 some odd, 60 some odd years later? Forget propeller planes. We over here in jets. Huh? By 1970 something, for those of us that believe in the moon landing, we're already landing on the moon. Just saying. Just saying, everyone. So, you know, if our technology has been able to advance like that, if I start the clock at 1900, that's not even me starting the clock at 1800 or 1850. If we've been able to advance as far as we've been able to advance, I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. Imagine what we can do in another 100 and some odd years, 125 years. Huh? Just saying. All for one is saying, I'm ready for the Gundams. He said, forget what y'all talking about. Forget a tank, I want a Gundam. Oh man. But on that note, y'all, we'll truly pause right here. Look, I went on a tangent again. So we'll pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God. Mr. Z got errands to run. I done gave y'all 3 hours. Jesus. All right, y'all. So we'll end out, and I think I don't know if Dr. Thunder's probably still streaming. Maybe y'all check out Dr. Thunder. Y'all go check out the Raj Report, and Mr. Z's out. Mr. Z is out. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Go touch some grass. It's a Friday. All right, y'all. Mr. Z out.
You are now listening to Mr. Z Blackneffect.